Big 12, Sooners have the conference to focus on today in K-State.
Red Beaumart's got to get things going with his passing offense. Already averaging 137 yards a game. And remember, they have one game left against Kansas State before the big shootout with Texas next week. They'll win this game today.
Meanwhile, there's a key North Division game. The Cyclones have lost Iowa State, almost lose a game at Army. Is that what it's come to?
I think they're
North versus South as K-State takes on wounded Oklahoma. The Sooners have only the Big 12 Conference now to focus on. Can they refocus?
Absolutely. You know, Kansas State's beaten 3 cream puffs in a row. Their average is scored is 2, and they've won 2 out of the last 9 games. I'm going with Oklahoma's sick and tired of hearing how bad they are. Oklahoma.
We're sick and tired of hearing about it. You imagine being a player or a coach. I think Oklahoma's defense will be the answer. And this is one last game for Red Beaumar in the passing game to try to find some rhythm before the game next week with Texas. But I think they'll be okay today, Oklahoma.
All right.
Today, Oklahoma, the defending Big 12 champion, opens up conference play against a young and confident Kansas State team. The K-State Wildcats may smell blood, yet all 4 wheels are still intact on the Sooner schooner. Sooner running back Adrian Peterson, a Heisman runner-up last year, is pumped. The Sooner Nation is crimson red and ready. Kansas State is undefeated. Oklahoma has to turn it around. A classic Big 12 confrontation. Kickoff is moments away on FSN.
Oklahoma fans are fired up. Expect another sellout. It's conference time in the Big 12. From the Gaylord family Oklahoma Memorial Stadium in Norman, it's Big 12 football presented by Kyocera. Tonight, the Kansas State Wildcats open conference play against the Oklahoma Sooners. The Sooners are hoping that their star running back Adrian Peterson, who has very impressive numbers as just a sophomore, will get on track. He was held just 58 yards in the last outing, a loss to UCLA. Welcome, everyone. Bill Land along with Gary Reasons. Glad to have you aboard here today. The Sooners come in a strange-looking team at 1-2, the only Big 12 team without a winning record in non-conference play. Wildcats are 3-0, but a much softer non-conference schedule. Overall, we like the matchup, Gary.
It's a good matchup. I think Bill Snyder's got his football team where they want to be, playing consistent football. Bob Stoops, a few question marks there. They're 1-2 and not what he's characteristically thinking of, but I think they both know that if their teams play well, they can get to where they want to be at the end of the year, and that's the Big 12 championship game.
I guess if Oklahoma's a major concern, it's trying to get its offense on track, and you start with a signal caller, redshirt freshman Beaumar, a guy that has shown some signs of progressing against UCLA.
Well, Red Beaumar really grew up last time out against UCLA. The young man did a great job throwing the football, 20 of 29 completing passes. But I think where he's excelling right now with his football team, Bill, is he's showing some leadership and he's showing toughness running the football. The young man's big, he's strong, he's powerful, he's aggressive, and I think if he plays well with the same kind of character he showed against UCLA, should be a good night for him.
The Wildcats have got a pair of running backs that Oklahoma has to be concerned with. Thomas Clayton, a guy who starred early on, disciplined for an off-the-field incident, did not play against North Texas last week. Up steps Paris Fisher. Presto, another star running back.
It's plug and play for Kansas State. Bill Snyder's got a couple of guys now he can go to. A couple of them have 100-yard performances throughout this year. And I'll tell you, when you have Thomas Clayton and Paris Fisher, that's a good 1-2 punch back there to go with Allen Webb. Now you take a look at against North Texas with Allen Webb tossing the ball out to Paris Fisher. You see him in the open field and see what he brings to the table. A little bit of a Darren Sproul LLS 2004 campaign. Good talent out there at both Clayton and Fisher.
All right, we look forward to it here as Kansas State goes for what you would still call an upset here against a 1-2 Oklahoma team, gearing up for next week's game against Texas. The defenders are ready. Dusty Dvorak for Oklahoma's been on fire, and Maurice Mack is the stud linebacker of K-State. When we return, we'll join Mike Goldberg, Billy Ray Smith, and DeMarco Farr in our College Football Saturday studio. We're watching Big 12 football presented by Kyocera on FSN. Welcome back to Norman. The Sooners and the Wildcats. Oklahoma 1-2, Kansas State 3-0 on our Kyocera College Football Saturday here in Norman. Bill Land, Gary Reasons with you up top. And before we kick it off, let's send it down to our sideline man, Jim Knox.
All right, thank you very much, Bill. I tell you what, Sooners got the bye week. They got a whopping 10 days of practice, a lot of practice time, but Bob Stoops, Oklahoma head coach, will be the first to tell you he doesn't expect his team to turn into Super Sooners just yet. But he did do a lot of work as far as the turnover department is concerned. A lot of quarterback and center exchange. Also, with 5 freshmen starting tonight, they expect that to pay off big time. We will see, guys.
All right, thanks, Jim. Yeah, they took 1 day off last week. That has been unusual for an off week. Our temperature at 86. Wind is a factor at the moment, and there is a chance of some rain here in the Norman area. And set to kick it off, the Kansas State Wildcats, as Jeff Snodgrass, 6'2", 200, a junior, and he'll be booting it deep to Smith and Wilson, who are back for the Sooners. Smith takes it in the end zone and will down it there. Bring it out to the 20. The Sooners are coming off a 17-point loss to UCLA. Bad plays killed them in that game.
Well, a lot of miscues here, especially from Rhett Bomar handling the football. Bob Stoops preached to his team this week, we've got to take care of the football, and it all starts, especially with that center quarterback exchange. They had some issues a week ago, Bill. They need to clean it up.
They've got to take care of the turnover business. So the Kyocera starting lineups, headlined by the redshirt freshman from Grand Prairie, Texas, Rhett Bomar. You see the numbers last week, 20 of 29 against UCLA. One of the strangest notes, though, is Oklahoma does not have a passing touchdown yet through 3 ball games. They get it 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line. Adrian Peterson sets up nearly 10 yards back. And the handoff is to Peterson. Gets a couple down to the 22, maybe the 23-yard line. They continue to shuffle the offensive line as we come back to our Kyocera starting lineup. And the offensive line, a mix of veterans, and then take a look at 76, Braxton getting his 3rd straight start as a true freshman. They'll shuttle some others in there. Travis Wilson, their leading receiver with 13 grabs on the year. You know all about Peterson. J.D. Reynolds is a superb blocking back. 2nd and 8 from the 22. Peterson stopped near the 25 and a flag is thrown. Byron Garvin made the tackle, a sophomore for the K-State secondary.
Looks like we're probably going to get a hold here on the second play here for the Sooners around that left side. Trying to get Peterson off early with a couple of balls to the left side.
As they settle things here, let's take a look at the Kansas State defense here in just a moment.
77 on the offense. 10-yard penalty.
So I'm Davin Joseph, our second-team all-conference pick from a year ago. Defensively, for Kansas State, Seiler, Eccles, Moran, and George only allowing 244 yards per game total defense. That's number 9 in the nation. The backers are all solid as you take a look at the secondary that has also got some pretty good depth. Their top interceptor, Justin McKinney, will come off the bench tonight.
Yeah, and Kansas State, Bill, also have not allowed a 100-yard rusher this season. Adrian Peterson's got his eyes squarely set on accomplishing that tonight.
And it's 2nd down and 19. The Sooners push back to the 11-yard line. Bomar completes it to Wilson, and he is shoved back after making the reception near the 16-yard line. Ted Sims and Brian Baldwin making the tackle for the Kansas State Wildcats. Now, the quarterback situation here, Bomar did not get the start to start the season. Paul Thompson did, but after the loss to TCU, it's been Bomar's show.
No doubt about it. Rhett Bomar's the man. These are the numbers combined for him. You see the big thing here, Bill, production. No touchdowns on the season. You mentioned that earlier. And the completion percentage not stellar. These numbers have to improve. Rhett Bomar's got to settle down out there. Paul Thompson, we expect to see him play some wide receiver tonight.
They've been very impressed with Thompson accepting that role and his work in practice. He's in the rotation tonight. Incomplete to the backfield. Kewan Jones coming out. Couldn't find the handle. Great pressure again by K-State.
Well, they had a good screen set up here. I tell you, they've got Kewan Jones slipping out to the left side. Rhett Bomar tossed it a little bit out in front of him here. Good job here. Let your blockers come up to the quarterback and toss it out there. He's got 2 blockers in front of him. Kewan would have had a nice game there for the Sooners had he caught that pass.
Oklahoma will punt it away now. 4th down and 14. The ball on the 16-yard line, and setting up is Cody Freeby at the goal line, and he is 6'2", 221, a sophomore from Fort Worth, Texas, averaging 43.6 on his punts, his longest a 70-yarder against Tulsa. And the deep man is Morera. He returned one for a touchdown last week against North Texas. It goes out of bounds here. K-State's going to get great field position near the 46-yard line of the Wildcats.
Yeah, pretty good wind here tonight coming out of the south end zone, which is where OU punted the ball into.
And let's take a look at the Kyocera lineup for Kansas State. Allen Webb, that quarterback rating has been benefited by a 10 for 12 for a career best 256 yards passing. and 2 touchdowns in the win over North Texas last week as they blew out the Mean Green 54-7.
Well, Bill Snyder likes his quarterback. He likes him because he's efficient. Bill, he's grown up from last year where he had 4 or 5 starts last season, and he thinks that he's getting better each week. Just trying to get his decision-making a little bit better on the field, but they like what Allen Webb brings to the table.
1st and 10 at the 46-yard line, out of the gun. And the handoff near the 49-yard line as Thomas Clayton, the carrier. Alexander makes the tackle, and let's take a look up front for Kansas State as we continue with their offensive lineup. Clary is the most of the veteran players, his 30th start as a Kansas State offensive lineman. Vogelai's been banged up a bit. We might see Bador replace him later on. You saw Clayton on the carry. He gets the start tonight. Jordy Nelson, along with Morera, their leading receiver, with 11 receptions apiece. 2nd and 7. The ball at the 49 of Kansas State. First possession for the Wildcats. Webb fakes to Clayton, spins forward across the 50 to the OU 49-yard line. Dusty Dvorak makes the tackle, and Dvorak is the leader of that defensive group. Coming back from the torn bicep and also some off-the-field problems. They're very pleased with his play as we take a look at the Kyocera lineup. And Dvorak, as well as the linebackers, Ingram, who's got a pair of interceptions this year, 1 for a touchdown. Reggie Smith, a freshman, gets his first start at free safety for the Sooners. There's Dvorak. 3 tackles for loss in the UCLA defeat 2 weeks ago. 3rd and 5 for the Wildcats. And the sellout crowd here in Norman roaring now. Play clock just about to expire. Timeout. Give the crowd an assist here. OU sideline urging them on. We'll take a brief timeout. No score. Early going here in Norman. 5 for Kansas State. First possession from the 49 of Oklahoma. And the crowd roaring again after a K-State timeout. They were nearing a delay of game penalty.
Well, Kansas State's been pretty good on 3rd down this year. 63%. 3rd and 4 here. That's manageable for them.
Webb delivers a bullet across to the 40-yard line, and good for a first down to Jordy Nelson, his 12th reception of the year. Their leading receiver, a sophomore out of Riley, Kansas. He's 6'3", 210 pounds.
Now the Sooners decided to go with a little bit of an off coverage here. They've got a little separation with all the defensive backs, giving some space to the receivers in front. They've had some issues in the secondary, and they know that they've got to play better. Playing some young freshmen there. You saw Reggie Smith, a true freshman, starting at strong safety in this football game. They need to play better as a group outside of On You Getcha. They have not had a pass breakup in the secondary this season.
9 yards on the pickup, 1st and 10. Clayton got racked hard after it looked like he had found a crease, and he is stuffed at the 39 of the Sooners. Give him a yard on the play.
One thing you're going to know about Oklahoma's defense, they're going to play be physical, Bill. I don't care who they're playing. Their mindset is to win at the line of scrimmage. And you take Pendleton and Dvorak and those guys up front, they're going to try to win those matchups and make it difficult for K-State to get going on the ground. Now, K-State offensively, they want to have some balance, and we'll talk about that as we go along.
2nd down and 10. The ball at the 40-yard line for Kansas State. Webb and a mishandled snap. Oklahoma's recovered. They got it at the 49-yard line. Rufus Alexander. You'll hear him roofing for Alexander.
Well, that's absolutely something you can't do coming in here. K-State, the snap goes awry. It looks like the center did not get the ball up when everyone else expected the ball coming up. It looks like the line takes off. Take a look. You're going to see the line take off and the quarterback go, and the ball come to his left. Allen Webb's not even going to be able to pull it. He moves to his right. There goes the ball. Trying to make a change there. Rufus Alexander, you said, Bill, good heady football player, gets on it for the Sooners.
Brent Venables, co-defensive coordinator, really excited about the play of Alexander. He said one of the many guys that are playing well defensively for Oklahoma. It's offensively that they've really struggled. They did on their first series. Let's see if they take advantage of the turnover. The handoff and nearly a fumble there. And Oklahoma stopped at the 48 as George made the tackle. Let's take a look at our Dodge keys to the game here.
Well, pretty much here from day one, I think that Bob Stoops needed to change his offensive line play and get that better. I think they've got to improve. They've had some inconsistency there, and I think that Rhett Bomar, he doesn't have to be spectacular, but be efficient. You can't have mistakes with the center snap. Hold on to the football when pressure comes, and I think defensively, I think their front four has to get pressure and help that young secondary grow with a little bit of pass rush.
2nd down and 11. Bomar rolls out, incomplete. The juggling act by Runnels, unable to come up with the football, wasn't going to get much anyway, but now it is 3rd and 11.
Kind of unique, though. You got J.D. Runnels, one of the best fullbacks in the country, coming out, and he's a very capable receiver, and that's what they like to do with him, throwing the football. And a little unique thing about J.D. Runnels here in his career as a Sooner, a 3-year starter for this football team, and you want to get a little balance on your football team, why don't you give it to your fullback running? He's only got 1 rushing attempt for his career at OU.
You mentioned the 3rd down conversion rate for Kansas State. Oklahoma, on the other hand, is 10th in the Big 12 in 3rd down conversions. See what they do here in 3rd and 11. Bomar, plenty of time, steps up in the pocket, incomplete, and intended for Jawan Rankins, a senior out of Windsor, North Carolina. And Watts and Baldwin were covering on the play.
Well, you got a little pressure up front here on the quarterback. That's what you need. Make him step up and throw early, but the coverage in the secondary is what makes this happen. Bomar got good protection right there, but it breaks down. He's got a lot of time to throw the football, but coverage is good and not able to get it to Rankins.
So, K-State's defense has been up to the challenge in spite of poor field position there after the turnover. As a result, Freebie on to punt. Barrera, the lone man deep. Gets it off cleanly, and it's taken at the 18 by Morera. Great coverage by the Sooners as nothing doing. They'll call his forward progress stop at the 20-yard line. No score, 9:30 to go, first period here. Oklahoma and Kansas State. Welcome back, Kyocera's College Football Saturday. Bill Landgary Reasons, Jim Knox with you. No score, 9:30 to play. Let's go back to our Dodge keys to the game. We took a look at Oklahoma's side a moment ago. Now for the Wildcats.
Well, they like to run the football and throw the football, and that's what they've done this year. They've been very balanced, very even production there. I think they need to continue that, and I think defensively they need to get pressure on the quarterback and make him beat you throwing the football and take Adrian Peterson out of the game running it.
Clayton there for Dr. Pepper Game Break. Let's go to Mike Goldberg.
Bill, thank you very much. Number 1 USC's 25-game winning streak on the line. 28-24, they trail at ASU. Reggie Bush, 34 yards for the touchdown. Arizona State on their next possession. 4th interception thrown by Sam Keller. They lead by 3. USC has the ball.
Wow. What a game. Southern Cal trying to stay unbeaten with everybody talking about no one capable of beating them. They got a scare last week early, and Arizona State really putting it to it. Figures on the reception here, but that's play blown dead before the pass. Come on, Figures.
On the snap, delay of game on the offense.
You heard
5 yards,
delay
second
of
down.
game on the offense. Kansas State head coach Bill Snyder, 134, 62-1 in his 17th year. Just an absolute phenomenal job of turning that football program around. 3-time National Coach of the Year. One thing to turn it around, which to me is the greatest in the history of college football, Gary. It's another to maintain what they have been able to do.
17 years he's been at the helm there and just done a great job. Over 100 career wins there. Bill Snyder is a guy who has got things turned around, as you said, Bill, and sustained it, which is not easy to do in college football.
2nd and 13 for the Wildcats of Snyder here. And Webb on the keeper. Knocked out of bounds at the 31-yard line. Very close to the first down, it would appear, as a flag is also thrown.
Well, when you have Alan Webb at the helm, he does a lot of good things for you. He can throw the football. We saw him there running the football in the previous play, and he's got a good job completing the football this season. Almost 63% completion for the year. So his quarterback rating is pretty good now through the first 3 football games, and they expect him to continue that tonight.
Well, Webb, you take a look at this year, and remember last year, you saw that completion rate. Last year he completed 52%. He goes up to 63%. Just shows you the steady improvement that he has shown Bill Snyder. 1st and 10 at the 31. The flag was a sideline warning against Oklahoma. Nothing doing there. Webb just does get rid of it. Clayton, no chance. A loss on the play near the 27-yard line. Rufus Alexander, who recovered the fumble a moment ago, and Thibodeau also in on the play. Calvin is a senior out of Houston.
Well, Thibodeau gets in the backfield, and he makes Alan Webb get rid of the football sooner than he would like to. Good job by the Sooners with the penetration and not allowing Alan Webb to get started. Watch on the line here. He's going to come right through the backfield, and Alan Webb is going to have to deal with him as he comes through. The guard pulls around, but makes him pitch quick, and good pursuit by the Sooners, and they like to run the football.
2nd and 13, the ball on the 28 with 7:38 to go first quarter for Kansas State. Webb calling the signals. Clayton in motion. Incomplete. It'll be 3rd down. Glad to have those of you that are joining us from around the country here in Norman. Bill Land, Gary Reasons, Jim Knox with you. Kyocera's college football Saturday. Kansas State and Oklahoma, the Big 12 conference opener for these two. Sooners 1-2. Wildcats are 3-0. Oklahoma's offense has been a struggle this year, and it has in this game thus far. I should say. 6 plays, 7 yards for the Sooners. Kansas State has already survived a turnover, and now on a 3rd and 13, they call another timeout here. So as they talk it over, that's their 2nd timeout. We'll take a break as well. Bill Snyder not happy about that. We'll be right back. Well, last year, Oklahoma K-State met in Manhattan. It was a dandy. Jason White was the key figure, though. Travis Wilson caught 2 of his 4 touchdown passes in Manhattan. Mark Clayton, moving on to the NFL, also was a big player as the Sooners win 31-21. White throwing for 256 yards and 4 scores. Travis Wilson, last season, that's what he did against the Wildcats. He comes in here tonight. Still trying to get a bit on track. Oklahoma with 0 touchdown passes so far this season. And Travis Wilson's best opportunity was the first pass of the year against TCU. It was overthrown. They haven't been close since. Webb. Coverage breaks down his protection on a 3rd and 13. And the Sooners defense and the Wildcats defense are the story of this one early.
Well, you're going to bring 8 here against the quarterback, Alan Webb. It's everybody else man-to-man outside, and good coverage out there, and everything just breaks down. A little pump fake, but nothing happening there. Good job by the Sooners. The pressure up front. You see Alexander, Thibodeau, a lot of crimson shirts there on that quarterback, and I think that's the pressure that Bob Stoops alluded to that we need to help our secondary with. They got it done on that last 3rd down.
Tim Ryer will come on to punt it away to Rankins, who is deep for the Sooners. How about K-State? A record 658 yards offense last week against North Texas. Tonight, they have 10 plays for 7 yards. A little bit different level of competition. The Sooners, Rankins takes it 42, made one miss. Looking for a blocker, got it. 45, watch out, stumbles across the 35-yard line.
Well, Bill, Juwan Rankin's been plagued by a few injuries this year, but doesn't show any signs of it right now, catching this return for this punt return. And guy who's got a lot of ability in the open field, been a pretty decent receiver here for Oklahoma, but you see what he brings to the table, make somebody miss. That's what you have to do as a punt returner, make that first guy miss, then hopefully you can get a wall set up. Good job here by the Sooners. He eludes the punter, and I guess that line got in there, tripped him up, but overall good return, good field position here for OU.
Ron Figures was the first player that had a shot at him and missed it. And a 26-yard return now officially as the Sooners first at 10 from the 33 of the Wildcats. And Wildcats defense still strong to the task here. First Down Line's brought to you by Overstock.com, your online outlet. It's all about the O. Second and 12, ball on the 35-yard line. Red Beaumont, 6'2", 215, brings him out. Paul Thompson is out as the wide receiver here. Sooner fans will get a good look tonight at what he can do. Incomplete, as again, things break down trying to set up the screen. Let's go down on the sideline quickly to Jim Knox.
All right, thank you, Bill. I tell you what, the bye week really helped Adrian Peterson. Out of all the players, he was the one that was really banged up. Played against UCLA with a sprained ankle, but talking to him, he said the ankle is fine, and definitely the time off helped him. Right now, he's looking to get back on track, guys.
All right, as Peterson coming in, 341 yards, 113 per game. But other than the 220 against Tulsa, he has struggled.
Now you got to see Rhett Bomar go to work here on a 3rd and long situation, and they're going to have a timeout here call.
Timeout of the half.
Timeout is called, and this, as we mentioned, conference opener here for these two ball clubs. The Sooners not used to being 1-2 coming into the league. What about a fresh start? Bob Stoops commented about it at his weekly news conference.
I'm not much on trying to hide from the past and start again, but in the end, the Big 12 and what we do in the Big 12 conference is what truly does matter. You know, and so there's a sense of that in that we realize, you know, this is the most important part of the season. If we've made improvement over the last 4 weeks, it needs to show, and that's what we're pushing for.
Well, that's the thing you tell your football team, too, is you've got to produce now. And you talk about some players that, you know, this is not a rebuilding year for a lot of those football players there down for OU. Bob Stoops got some seniors out there. Hey, they don't want to rebuild. They want to win a championship again and go to the Big 12 championship game. So they say, hey, it's not a rebuilding time. It's a time to step out and play. Conference play starts tonight, and they want to pick that level of play up and, you know, get some things happening.
Yeah, conference play alive and well in the Big 12 as Nebraska beats Iowa State 27-20 in a double overtime in Lincoln. And then earlier today on a game on FSN, we had Baylor and A&M go into an extra session for the 2nd straight year, and A&M pulled that one out against the Baylor Bears. Oklahoma State was trounced at home by Colorado. And Mike and the guys will have all the update for you at halftime. Make sure you stay tuned for that, as there's some great college football action to report on. There's Thompson again as a wideout. 3rd and 12 from the 35 of Kansas State. Bomar eludes one defender, trying to turn the corner. And run out of bounds and flags galore. It's a laundry party as Brandon Archer is the one going to be charged with a late hit. And Derek Marceau, the defensive tackle, is the one that Bomar got away from. And that is something that Jason White, after all the knee surgeries, was unable to do last year.
46 on the defense.
I tell you that Rhett Bomar,
late hit out of bounds, 15 yards, first down.
that's what he brings to the quarterback position here for OU. He's a lot more elusive. He's a runner. He can run the football. Take a look here as the Kansas State defender comes around and knocks him, comes out of bounds and hits him. That's what you can do. That's Brandon Archer. He showed good speed coming from his linebacker spot to get there, but it's an unnecessary penalty for Bill Snyder.
And you know Coach Snyder, as detailed as he is and demanding perfection, obviously upset about that call. It's Oklahoma's first down, and it comes via the penalty. And they had him corralled. So, as a result, 1st and 10 at the 22. Peterson, he breaks through, 15-10, he'll score. Oklahoma's on the board. .22 yards, Adrian Peterson. Those penalties will kill you, Gary.
Well, they will, and they'll give you opportunity, and that's what OU utilizes here. They just stretch it out with Adrian Peterson, let him find a gap, and good job of getting hat on hat as far as blocking for the Sooners. Bill Snyder's group is going to have to get regrouped here. The Sooners come out with a pretty good turnaround here and get points on the board.
So coming on for the point after, Garrett Hartley, the kicker, sophomore out of Southlake, Texas. 8 of 8 in PATs. Holder freebie, it's up, it is good, and Adrian Peterson gets on the board with the touchdown run of 22 yards.
It's just a stretch play to the left side. Watch the offensive line just get on people, and then Adrian Peterson finds the gap, breaks one tackle. Good job there by Davin Joseph to get things to the outside, take his man out of the way, and Adrian Peterson gets right in behind him for the score.
So Adrian Peterson out of Palestine, Texas, and Peterson last year, 1,925 yards. He does know how to get to the end zone, and he certainly looked fresh in that case. Our accurate scoring drive, 4 plays. The keyest play, though, of course, was the penalty.
Yeah, that helped out a lot for OU to get things moving down there, and Adrian Peterson finishing it off. Good line play up there. That's what they want to have, is good line play to get things happening in your running game. And here's somebody folks in OU know.
Toby Keith's a regular on the OU sidelines. We'll sing to that one. Oklahoma now set to kick it off as Hartley sets up, and there's Marrera deep again for the kick return. We'll have Figures back there with him.
Now the Sooners have been spectacular, Bill, on kick coverage, only allowing 11.1 yards on kick return. So they've done a great job of covering the kicks, and got to get the right kick to do that. But they've showed with speed getting down there. This ball is pooched up in the air. It's going to be caught around the 20.
And out near the 30, and then the hard hit on the play. And it'll be 1st and 10 near the 30 for Kansas State. On Tuesday, Fox Sports, once again, your home for the most dramatic, compelling, and heartbreaking month in sports, beginning with the Division Series, then exclusive coverage of the Championship Series and the World Series, the MLB postseason on Fox. It can't be scripted. And what a finish. Yankees won today. Cleveland lost. That means Boston and Cleveland are tied for the wild card, a game back. The Yankees up 1 with 1 to go. Right here, it is 7-0 Oklahoma. Kansas State with a football, 1st and 10 from the 29-yard line.
They haven't been able to get on track running the football. They're a negative number so far for K-State.
Going deep and incomplete. And for Dr. Pepper game break, let's go to Mike Goldberg.
Hey, Bill, who says Joe Pa is too old? 4 losing seasons in the last 5 years, but a big day in Happy Valley today. Penn State rocks and rolls over number 19 Minnesota. Freshman Derek Williams, 2 touchdowns. They're 5-0 for the first time since '99. Gary Joe Pa playing the youngins.
How is it that as we all get older, we think old's just fine?
Those are sweeter wins right there, no doubt about it.
Big one for the Nittany Lions. 2nd and 10 here for the Wildcats of K-State at the 29-yard line. A little trouble on the exchange there. Clayton, and a flag thrown near the tackle that was made at the 33-yard line.
We're probably going to have a hold inside there on K-State.
Thibodeau with the stop. Yep. Holding on the Wildcats. K-State, as Bill Snyder looks on, has been averaging 60 yards a game in penalties, and both teams averaging just over 7 penalties a contest.
Holding, 66 offense. 10 yards, 2nd down.
That is Jerome Clary, or Jeremy Clary, I should say. The senior from Mansfield, Texas.
We talked about that offensive line for K-State. They've got a lot of players that they feel very comfortable with in their first group, Bill, but when they've had some injuries there, so they don't have some depth problems as well. They've got some youth, sophomore, and a freshman right across the middle of both guards in the center spot. So a lot of youth in the middle for K-State on their offensive line.
2nd and 20 now for the Wildcats. Ball at the 19. Big crowd here in Norman roaring again. OU showing blitz, and they get him. No, Webb got loose for a moment. Still on his feet and dives out of bounds. He made a heck of a play to just lose 5 or 6 yards.
Zach Latimer had him in the backfield, thought that he was going to have a nice sack. But I tell you, he just did not bring him down. That's what you have to do when you make a play on the quarterback. You've got to get back there and be effective. Take a look at the top of the screen. You take up the running back Clayton. He has to block and can't get him to the ground. Latimer just lost him, did not grab a hold of Alan Webb. And good job by him to make something out of nothing. Made a real negative play, not a positive play, but one where you lose a lot of yards.
C.J. Ayu had missed an opportunity at him there, although he slowed him up. Kansas State 13 plays, and they have 0 yards of offense. 3rd and 27. The ball on the 12-yard line. Webb dancing toward his own end zone. Nearly got knocked. Unloads, and it is complete, but short of the first down by, no, wait a minute. Incomplete. Yeah, he came flying down the field. Corey, I think it was Corey Bennett put the pressure on Webb
Yeah, Jordy Nelson's going to be the one trying to catch the football. Good block on the outside, and Allen Webb just steps into this ball and see if he pulls it in. And the ball's definitely on the ground. Good call by the umpire, who's actually right behind the linebackers, and he turns around to see this catch as it's thrown, and probably got the best look at it because he's going to be right back in here on the field.
Great shot there. Latimer nearly got a deflection of that. And now this one snapped out of the end zone, and it will be a safety for Oklahoma. The Sooners. Bob Stoops takes pride in his special teams, and their defense set everything up for that play.
Now, that's an exceptional job by Oklahoma's defense, one of creating negative field position, and then your punt return team. Hey, you're opportunistic. You'd like to go back and perhaps put pressure on the punter, but you don't have to because it sails right out of the end zone. You see Latimer there just...
Where was the punter?
Punter was not there. They just wanted to get that ball out. So somebody missed going out there. And if you're working all week and you say, hey, I'm the punter for this football team, it's fourth down, you got to be ready to go. How can you not have your punter in the football game and allow that to happen?
Wow. So it's 9-0 Oklahoma, and a perturbed Bill Snyder patrolling that sideline. And now, of course, his Wildcats will have to kick it off to Bob Stoops' Sooners. And, of course, they know each other very well. Coach Stoops played at Iowa and coached at Iowa when Bill Snyder was an assistant under Hayden Fry. And then, of course, Bob later on went on and coached underneath Bill Snyder at Kansas State before going to Florida and then here.
Well, what is Tim Ryer thinking? He's the punter, number 17. He's got to go out there on fourth down. He would be standing right back here, but he's not anywhere to be found right here, and the ball's going to go right out of the end zone. They might see the umpire back, or excuse me, the referee, but there's no punter back there. Number 17 was on the sideline. He's trying to wonder about, well, do I go out there on fourth down or not? Maybe not anymore.
Wow, got some splaining to do.
Serious splaining.
All right, K-State with the safety has to kick it off from the 20. Low kick, Wilson bobbled for a second, about the 13. At the 30, still going 40. Travis Wilson, tough to bring down near the 47-yard line. And let's head for another Dr. Pepper game break with Mike Goldberg.
Well, Bill, number 1 USC has survived their day in the desert thanks to their defense. Sam Keller intercepted for the 5th time here by John Walker. Number 1 USC defeats number 15 Arizona State 38-28. Oh, wow.
So the Trojans, and talk about Pac-10, a league that is much more difficult than I think people were going to give it credit for a month ago here.
Yeah, a lot of people look at that game. Arizona State thought that it wouldn't be a match for USC, but they did a pretty good job early in that football game. Had opportunities to win that game, but USC showing the character they have. They came back. Actually had knocked Leinart out of the game early.
Here is Peterson on 1st and 10 across the 50, galloping down near the 41-yard line of the Wildcats. And it'll be a first down, Oklahoma. Now the Trojans of USC are finding out they got a bullseye every time they take the field on their back.
Well, when you block, you want to go to the left side. That's who you're going to go to. Go around Davin Joseph. Make sure you get a pancake there, which he does behind him. Excellent blocking right there. Take a look at the left side, Davin Joseph. See what he does with his man right there. And just continues it. You got a tackle coming around there as well, but that's a pancake. Good job by number 77, Davin Joseph.
Pick up a 13, and Peterson then literally tries to bull his way forward here and nothing doing. It'll be 2nd and long now. There's no subs. Will bring us a look at the Big 12 rushing leaders, and when you take a look at team-wise how things set up, Texas, and they had another huge victory today. This is prior to that game. Missouri, Kansas State at 253 coming in, and Oklahoma 8th in the league at 160.
Well, they're going to try to pick that up, no doubt about it. Kansas State not doing well today, minus 21 on the board, so they got to move the ball on the ground a little bit better than that if they're going to have any chance here against Oklahoma.
2nd and 10 Sooners from the 41. Bomar, the lick in, complete. And yeah, Paul Thompson, and the crowd will give him a big hand as Garvin made the tackle. Thompson's first reception. Look at this. Crowd going to go crazy. They love this guy, and everyone was pulling for him early in the year. It wasn't like they didn't like Bomar, but he's just known as an outstanding individual besides a heck of a player.
A great individual. You take a young man who decided to take a red shirt last year, thinking he's going to come in here and be the starting quarterback this year, competed with Rhett Bomar, and they decided amongst the coaches that it'd be a better opportunity for Paul Thompson to play receiver, and he comes out there and takes it, does a very good job of adjusting to that position and also doing a great job on the football field.
You see the flag being thrown here on the play. 3rd down and 2. Watts making the tackle. And Bob Stoops is certainly proud of the progress that Paul Thompson has made in the willingness to go to wideout.
Paul Thompson really has been impressive at receiver and quicker than I felt, that he would adapt to it quickly because he understands all the routes. He understands our offense, what we're asking those guys to do. So I felt the mental part would come quick, but just his ability to run, his ability to time the ball.
He's got a big frame. He's got good hands, too. They say, hey, he's got very, very soft hands. He knows all the routes. So the mechanics of going out there and playing is just getting reps and getting an opportunity to go out there and show his skills. And he's going to get better as they go along. They like what he brings. And I tell you, the wide receivers coaches here for Oklahoma, they say, he's probably about as good as we got out there right now.
I mean, Travis Wilson is no doubt the leader, but they're looking for some other people after losing Clayton and some of those great folks from a year ago. And an illegal formation was the call. It'll now be a 3rd and 7. See the 3rd down conversion situation for Oklahoma. They're at the 38 of Kansas State. 2:20 to go first quarter. They lead at 9-0, I should say. Coming out, Bomar. Going to keep the football. K-State is there. And it will be 4th and long for the Sooners.
Well, Rhett Bomar's coming around the field here trying to find somebody open, but you got to look at number 12. Old Paul Thompson decided to get open on this play. He's at the top of the screen, and he's going to come across here, right across the back of where the linebackers come, and Rhett Bomar's got to find him here. He's wide open. You see him wide open in the middle of the field. It's an easy first down throw there, but Rhett Bomar does not even identify number 12.
The other thing with Thompson, he's 6'4", 210. He was a 6'10" high jumper in high school, so he's strong. He can leap. He obviously knows the plays, and this is a guy that they're really excited about giving him a bump offensively. Freebie has to come on for the punt, trying to keep it out of the end zone. Did not. It'll be a touchback and out to the 20-yard line for the Wildcats of Kansas State here in the final minutes of this first quarter. This week, it's a Fox NFL Sunday doubleheader. Begins with the Rams trying to win their 3rd straight when they take on the Giants. Then Terrell Owens and the Eagles try to stop Priest Holmes and the Chiefs, or the Vikings take on the Falcons, or you'll get other regional action. It all begins with America's #1 pregame show. That's tomorrow at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific on Fox. Well, Kansas State, known as a team that travels well. There's that purple stripe up the end zone here of the K-State fans that have come down from Manhattan. But their club has been stymied offensively. They play great defense, but they trail it 9-0. Webb on a 1st and 10. Brought down from behind, trying to turn the corner, picking up a couple. Did stay in bounds on the play, and Nick Harris made the tackle, a freshman from Alexandria, Louisiana.
Good job in the secondary by OU of taking everybody out of the play here. You see the man coverage here that's going on, and then you have Webb come around the backside. But watch number 5 close some ground. Nick Harris, a freshman, going to play safety here, and he comes up and makes a nice tackle on Allen Webb here on the edge. Took everybody away. Everybody was covered. Nowhere to throw the football. So Allen Webb has to try to make something with his feet.
2nd down and 6. Ball on the 24-yard line for the Wildcats. -17 rushing, 9 yards passing for Kansas State in this first quarter as we hit the 33-second mark. Webb, complete. Oh, what a hit at the 29-yard line, though, as covering in the play was Clint Ingram. He made sure that the wide receiver on the play, Davin Dennis, didn't get any more than what he caught it at.
Ball thrown a little bit behind Dennis, but nonetheless makes the grab there. It's going to bring up a 3rd and short. Actually, they're going to look like they're going to give him the first down on that, Bill. But it might have been thought they pretty generous spot here. I didn't know that he actually made the first down. It's right there, just below, I thought it was at the 29-yard line, but they get it across the 30.
I think they made the right call. Take a look. 1st and 10 at the 30. And that ends the first quarter as Latimer makes the tackle on Thomas Clayton, who had come in averaging 7.7 a carry. Well, as a team, they're minus 15 yards rushing so far in this first quarter, as that ought to wrap it up. That's the end of the first quarter. Kansas State trailing the Oklahoma Sooners 9-0 Oklahoma. Defenses have been dominating. Adrian Peterson the only touchdown. You're watching College Football Saturday presented by Kyocera on FSN. Welcome back. 10th anniversary of the Big 12 Conference. Bill Land, Gary Reasons, Jim Knox with you in Norman, Oklahoma. College Football Saturday presented by Kyocera. The Sooners with a 9-0 lead in a defensive football game, to say the least, as we start this second quarter here at Oklahoma. Kansas State, second down and 8. The ball at the 32-yard line of the Wildcats. 0 total yards offense in this first quarter. There's the story. Oklahoma getting 22 of those 45 on Adrian Peterson's touchdown
Dead
run.
ball, false start, 72 on the offense. 5 yards,
another penalty.
second down.
False start by Haverty, and that means we'll push it back a little bit more for Kansas State.
They're kind of flinching here in line. Linebacker gets the guard to jump, and it's just an old linebacker trick. You just got to do that every now and then, and somebody's going to take the bait.
Then the finger pointing starts.
Oh, yeah. You guys are doing that.
Alan Webb, junior out of Denver, 6'3", 210. Got his work cut out for him. Now second down and 13. Last scrimmage, the 27 of the Wildcats. Webb, good protection this time. Going deep. Cannot connect with Jordy Nelson. Covering on the play, DJ Wolf, a converted running back, and Reggie Smith also out there.
No production here for Kansas State offensively. We're seeing Thomas Clayton play at tailback spot. We thought we'd see Paris Fisher. Have not seen him, number 7 for Kansas State. So the two tailback tandem that we thought we might have a chance to see in this football game. Right now it's number 5 Clayton back there with Alan Webb.
That time of possession, a lot of coaches will tell you that is not a very meaningful stat, and maybe tonight's a good example. That you have the football more than your opponent, but you have no offense. 3rd and 13. Webb chased out of the pocket again. He's got room this time, no. Did he get the first down before he stepped out of bounds? They're all pointing. I think he did at the 41-yard line, and Bassey was there on the run, and IU also.
I think he stepped over it and got the first down, but Eric Bassey came like a rocket out of the middle of the field to try to negate Alan Webb from getting that first down. But a lot of space there around the edge. Good job by Alan Webb of creating something here. Just gets all the leverage. And I watched number 13 come from the middle of the field and almost get him before he gets that first down. Good speed there and hustle by Bassey.
CJ Ayu is the one that chased him out of there. And Bassey came over, but it is a first down for the Wildcats. 1st and 10 at the 41. So a pick up 14 on that scamper by Alan Webb. Nothing doing for the running game, though, as Clayton is bottled up again. You know, Webb's a guy, when we asked Bill Snyder how's he played, he said, well, he's really progressed, but he said, don't get me wrong, he has not hit the level that he did against Nebraska last year. He ran for 147 yards and threw for 124. That's the kind of balance he thinks his quarterback can give him. And then, of course, we talked about Paris Fisher. He's yet to see the field tonight.
Well, you haven't got him out there on the field. Don't know if he's going to play much tonight, but had a pretty good outing a week ago against North Texas. You know that. But Bill Snyder just going to go with Clayton right now and Alan Webb.
Fisher was the Big 12 Offensive Player of the Week for his efforts against the Mean Green of North Texas last week. 2nd and 10. Webb with Ingram coming after him. Unloads to the sideline. Nearest man to the football was Oklahoma DB Reggie Smith.
And nothing there for him, so he just throws it away. It's a smart play by the quarterback and try to get one-on-one, get something deep happening there, but good coverage by OU and good pressure up front. That's the pressure we talked about that Bob Stoops really needs from his defense. Brent Venables, the defensive coordinator, was telling us this week that they need to help their secondary by putting pressure on the quarterback with their front 4 and their front 7 in particular, because they've got athletes in the secondary, but they need a little help. And good defense works with a group up front, and secondary play can be enhanced.
That Kansas State offensive line, they've had a few injuries they've had to overcome already this year. They had a bunch last year. 3rd down and 10 from the 41. Webb in trouble again. Again breaks loose. Flag is thrown. It is complete at the 50, man, and across the 40. Let's see which way the flag goes. He stopped at the 36 of Oklahoma.
Well, if you're a K-State fan, you're not going to like this flag. It's back there right in the middle of the offensive line where holding usually occurs. So
if it stands a 23-yard play.
Holding 66 on the offense.
10-yard
penalty, third down.
His second holding penalty of the night. So he's got some issues going on there coming off that left side. The left tackle is has to be your best pass rusher. And Clary, the senior, 6'7", got good size. They like his ability, but this OU defense poses some problems because they play with speed, Bill. They put the defensive linemen up there that really have speed. And they want to get around the edge of that quarterback.
Well, you got to clean it up. K-State's 5 penalties, 45 yards. That one takes away a first down and a huge play. They had the other one, the late hit, that set up Peterson's touchdown run. So it is literally killing them here. 3rd and 21 at the 30. Webb unloads to Clayton. And Oklahoma not suckered in at all about the delayed screen as Rufus Alexander is there to make the tackle.
That's just well played by OU. They did a good job of, one, going to the quarterback, but everybody else played their responsibility, finding the screen receiver and getting him down quickly to the ground. Rufus Alexander having a pretty good season so far for OU. Actually been very active.
Here's an alert. The punter's here. Tim Ryer, a sophomore from Wamego, Kansas, been averaging 41 yards a kick. Coach Snyder was not happy, though. He said, yeah, the average looks good, but our net punting.
Breaking the huddle with 12 players. 5 yards, 4th down.
Wow, another 5 yards tacked on. He was saying, though, that we've got to do a better job of kicking inside the 20 instead of giving up touchbacks, because he said, you know, it's all about the net, and they have not gotten that, and now he's going to find out himself what happened on that play. Rankin's the deep man for Oklahoma. Fourth to 26, nearly got a piece of it. And the ball stops at the 33-yard line. Oklahoma with the block punt. Jacob Gutierrez, I believe, was the player that came through that got a piece of it. Take a look.
And the backup running back, Watchman, is going to get his hands out there on the ball right at the snap. Gutierrez lays out for the football. Good job on making something happen there when he comes off the edge. Here's Gutierrez making a play on the outside, goes on the inside, takes an inside move and gets a piece of it.
Well, Ryer had one blocked earlier this season, so now he had 9 punts coming in, and the woes continue for the Wildcats. It's 1st and 10 Sooners at the 33. Bomar hands to Peterson, and a flag stops everything.
Before the snap, ball starts, 77 offense. 5 yards, 1st down.
Wildcats, 56 points allowed this season. Look at that.
Yeah, you can't have mistakes and you can't win football games, and that's what has plagued Kansas State so far just on the points. Now, they've won the football games, but they've given up the points and the yardage because of field position and mistakes in the kicking game.
They were very fortunate to win in Huntington, West Virginia against Marshall, 21-19, when Marshall didn't execute properly at the end of that game. Well, Peterson trying to make a pay for error here, and he gets that 1st down back, it would appear, in one tote as Maurice Porter makes the tackle.
Well, when you line your tailback back up about 8 yards deep and you let him read the line of scrimmage, that's what they do with Adrian Peterson, and he sees the line of scrimmage and he sees the blocking, and you can just watch his feet move here. He takes it to the outside, but he cuts the gap back inside. He's very quick feet, very elusive, and he's got speed and power. He's about as good a player in college football at the running back spot that we've seen in a number of years.
Sooners offensively now 60 total yards to 13 for the Wildcats. 1st and 10 at the 23, 9-0 Oklahoma. Bomar keeps down inside the 15-yard line for Rhett Bomar.
Now this is a read by Rhett Bomar. He doesn't normally take it there. He normally brings it around the other side, but that's a good job of taking the ball inside a gap that he saw on that running play.
Garvin made the tackle on the play. First down line's brought to you by Overstock.com. Visit Overstock.com today and start saving. It's all about the O. It'll be 2nd down and 2 after a pickup of 8. The ball on the 15 officially. Again, they fake to Peterson, and Bomar keeps and has what appears to be the first down. Red Bomar, redshirt freshman from Grand Prairie, Texas, got off to the slow start. And the rushing, he's gained 116, lost 88, so the overall average of 1.2, but he is certainly a dual threat. No doubt about that.
I think when he gets on track here, where he's able to throw the ball with precision, get his receivers on timing, with an offensive line play all in sync, I think Red Bomar is going to be a fine quarterback here in the Big 12, and I think he's everything that Bob Stoops thought he was when he got in here as a recruit.
Peterson didn't fool anybody there. Loss on the play near the 14.5-yard line.
And Billy runs with character. I think he runs with toughness, and what he did last time out against UCLA kind of proved that. Take a look at it in here, and he runs with toughness. And I think that's what echoes to his football team, that you got a guy back there who's willing to lay it on the line. He plays with him. He's a very inspiring type of player. He's tough, and I think that is a good character for this young quarterback.
Bomar and the Sooners 2nd and 12 now on the 14, 10:45 to go before halftime. Peterson, nice strong run. He got a little crease and broke a tackle or two. Gets it down near the 12-yard line. And Brandon Archer making the tackle.
Brandon Archer's had to be active here against Adrian Peterson. They want to put about 8 guys around the line of scrimmage to try to negate what Adrian Peterson can do, and he comes up there limping. That's not good news for Sooner fans. He's had problem with an ankle here early in the season, high ankle sprain in the first ball game. Adrian Peterson, you see his numbers on the night, but looks like the right ankle there might be bothering him once again.
Yeah, not even able to hobble off in the zone. May have had someone fall on him as he went to the turf here in Norman. And how is he respected? Listen to the crowd.
Yeah,
a hush.
Very much so. Quiet hush here across this stadium, and they want to see what happens. And
Bob Stoops talking to the officials. Peterson, he just looked like he was going to try to hobble off, and then it was like couldn't go any further. And when I first saw it, I thought, well, maybe it's a cramp. You kind of hope for a cramp in that situation, but as a closer look, they're going, no. As
let's take a look at it here. Adrian going to come downhill here on the left side. Watch the tackling come from the inside, and they're just going to fall right on his ankle and watch it compress a little bit there and going underneath the young man there, so hopefully he'll be fine.
Sooner Nation quieted on the injury to Peterson. Sooners lead it 9-0. We'll be right back after this.
What do you value? Do you value the environment and generating clean energy from sunlight? Maybe you value...
Moments ago, as Adrian Peterson helped off the field, and the crowd with a hush, giving him a little bit of an ovation.
Just goes into contact here, and the tackle, just people just falling down on his legs, and the right ankle or right leg gets hung up underneath the pile. It looks like, is it T1 Jones in the game, Bill?
I think so, as Bomar sets up to throw in the end zone, and it is incomplete. Paul Thompson, the intended receiver, and they hovered around him.
Yeah, try to go to use his leaping ability. You talked about him earlier, 6'10" high jumper, a guy who they say he made a great catch in practice, similar to that in practice, and the team just erupted, showing Paul Thompson's leaping ability and his ability to catch the football. So take a look at Adrian Peterson on the side. It looks like they're cutting off the tape on his right ankle.
Field goal coming on now for the Sooners as Hartley sets up. 29-yard attempt. And Hartley hits it. Hartley is now 4 of 6 in field goals this year, as long as the 37-yarder. Bill Snyder sees his troops fall to a 12-0 deficit. 9:55 to go first half here in Oklahoma. Here in Norman, Oklahoma, Bill Land, Gary Reasons, Jim Knox with you on FSN as the Sooners have pushed out to a 12-0 lead over Kansas State. The Wildcats down 12-0, and their defense has played terrific. And the offense, just 13 yards. The Sooners just 71 yards of offense. Morera is deep. And kicking it off, Oklahoma with Hartley, and they get the touchback. Let's take a Dr. Pepper game break. Check out Mike Goldberg with more highlights.
Bill, let's travel to College Park, Maryland, ACC action. The Terrapins, number 18, Virginia. Big day for sophomore running back Lance Ball, 162 and 2 touchdowns. Nearly 600 yards of total offense for Maryland. They win big. And Purdue has just fumbled at the 1-yard line. Notre Dame leads 7-0 early in West Lafayette.
Dandy matchup there. Thank you, Mike. Number 14 and number 20 getting after it. Here, neither one of these teams ranked coming in. Oklahoma lost that after starting off 1-2. Fisher's in the backfield now to join Webb. Parrish Fisher, the Big 12 Offensive Player of the Week for his performance in the win over North Texas. The pass is complete on a 1st and 10 from the 20. And Bassie makes the tackle on Figures. Let's go down to Jim Knox. Well, we got some problems with Jim's microphones. Here we can get that fixed, get the report in just a moment. 9:28 to go here, second quarter. The Wildcats, they've got to, if they're going to stay in this thing here, they've got to have a drive.
They've got to find some momentum here. They've got to get some consistency. That's what Bill Snyder's offense is all about. Get consistency with your offense, running the football, throwing the ball. They're not trying to make a home run play. They just want to make plays. Now they got a false start on the left guard coming around. So not the way you want to come out here in the second quarter.
False start, 72 on the offense. 5 yards, second down.
We mentioned they're averaging 7.5 penalties a game. They got 7 now in the first half.
Well, you can't have mistakes like that. You come in and keep doing that. Watch the guard here, John Haverty. You're going to take an early, quick start to get out there, and can't keep shooting yourself in the foot like this. You make a play on first down, you get 3 or 4 decent yards on that, and come up with second down, and now you're back at 2nd and 11.
Line of scrimmage, the 19 for the Wildcats. Webb, the quarterback. Under center now comes back. Steps up, going to keep the football, and he is tackled near the 24-yard line by Dusty Dvorak. And let's now go back to Jim Knox.
Okay, Bill, directly behind me on the training table is Adrian Peterson. They took his shoe off, looked at his right ankle. He tried to stand up. He did stand up, grimaced, shook his head, and he's back on the training table. It does not look good. It looks like he's in a great deal of pain. They're still working on him. As soon as we find out something more, we will pass it on to you guys.
Bill, my experience with high ankle sprains is they don't heal very quickly. Those are things that sometimes nag and can linger on for a long period of time. He didn't show signs of it a couple weeks ago against UCLA, but maybe an ongoing issue with Adrian Peterson.
Boy, tough break in what has been a rough start for the Oklahoma Sooners this year. They do lead this one 12-0 over Kansas State. Watching Kyocera's College Football Saturday.
The halftime report to Norman, Bill, Gary, Jim.
Thanks, Mike. Couple of OTs in the Big 12. They'll fill you in on halftime. We're 8-10 away from getting there. It's 3rd and 6 Wildcats. Crowd roaring again. Ball on the Kansas State 24-yard line. They're being shut out 12-0 thus far. And again, flags are thrown. And Kansas State has just been totally disrupted. The Oklahoma defense, Bob Stoops talked about his defense having to put pressure on the quarterback, stop the run. Well, they've done those two things.
They certainly have. Defensively, they have come and they have played a pretty good game, especially up front here, putting pressure on Allen Webb.
Number 94 in the defense was in the neutral zone, causing a false start by the offense. 5 yards for offside, 3rd down.
Now, that's a different way to put pressure on the quarterback.
Well, this is a little good break here for Kansas State because the defense can move into the neutral zone but get back here, and that's what they're saying, that somebody up here stepped into the neutral zone and caused somebody on the offensive line to move. And that's, you see your nose tackle there. I don't catch the numbers. Is that Dvorak? Yeah, it's Dusty Dvorak in there right on the center, and that's the problem. Might have made contact.
Kansas State has 2 minutes, 20 seconds more possession time with the Sooners, but in 24 plays, the Wildcats have 22 yards of offense. 3rd and 1 from the 29. Full house backfield. And stringing it along, and it looks like they've got it here on the carry as Smith makes the tackle. And let's go ahead and send it back down to Jim for an update on Peterson.
Yeah, continue to update, especially you Sooner fans. I know you're grasping right now, but good news right now, they are retaping his right ankle. So Adrian Peterson, it looks like he's feeling a lot better. They're retaping the right ankle. It's going to be interesting to see if he gives it a go as he tries to test his right ankle out, guys.
Okay, thank you, Jim. First and 10 at the 31-yard line. Saba got the first down for Kansas State. And now they come back with Fisher. And Fisher picks up a few here. You know, if Kansas State viewpoint, we've given all that negative stuff, and there've been plenty of it. If they can have a sustaining drive, big if, and get a touchdown and be within 5 going in at halftime, Bill Snyder would have to be elated, all things considered.
Talk about the miscues that Kansas State has had, and now they have a chance to get a drive going. That's something positive for Bill Snyder and his football team, and you need those kind of things to build any kind of momentum. It's tough sledding right now for Kansas State.
Fisher the back, alongside Webb, 2nd and 3 from the 38. Fisher, boy, they hesitated on that handoff. That cost them. That could have been a huge gainer. Davis and Harris made the tackle for the Sooners.
Well, this is Alan Webb just reading this play, Bill. He decides whether or not to give it to Fisher here inside, and he decides, well, let's give it to him. So you take a look at the play here. They're going to read the defensive tackle. Paris Fisher's going to come out here, and Alan Webb's going to meet with him, and that's the read that they're both looking at. And Paris Fisher, just a freshman, maybe he's not had as much experience getting that handoff or that type of play in this K-State offense.
First and 10 at the 44, though, and another whistle here to stop the play.
Before the snap, Oklahoma called a timeout. 2nd timeout of the half.
That's not a penalty, Bill.
Okay, positive news. Doesn't make Coach Snyder any happier, though, does it? We'll take a brief break as well with 6:36 to go to half. 12-0 Oklahoma. Welcome back to Norman. The Sooners with a 12-0 lead over the Kansas State Wildcats. College Football Saturday presented by Kyocera. What an evening it's been for the Cats.
You have some miscues here. You don't get the center exchange with the quarterback. He goes behind you. Then take this one out of bounds. It's a safety here. OU gets the 2 points and the kick. Then something here. You get a block partial punt here. OU takes field position. Those are the miscues that's happening with Kansas State right now. You combine those with 7 penalties for 55 yards, a fumble, and a sack allowed. Kansas State not hitting on all cylinders, but the good news is on this particular drive, Bill, they've strung together a couple of first downs.
First and 10 at the 44 of the Wildcats now. And Webb dragged down from behind, but picked up 5 or 6 yards. Rufus Alexander's been all over the field tonight.
He has showed good speed from that linebacker spot, coming from the inside and catching Webb, who is not a slow quarterback. He gets around the edge pretty well. Rufus Alexander at 6'1", 230 pounds, able to get around the field, and he has been the most active and productive linebacker for the Sooners this season.
You know, we were talking during the break, did we expect this kind of game? I don't think either one of us thought the defenses would dominate as much as you look at Peterson limping with that ankle. But Gary, Bob Stoops stressed that, hey, we literally went back to the basics and nothing fancy. They practiced 6 days last week. Normally an off week, we give guys at least 2 or 3 days off. I think that's paid off. They're playing with much more intensity, which is something that he has demanded.
They really have, and they wanted to get reps. They wanted to get practice time, and the players took into it pretty well.
Offense, 5 yards, 2nd down.
Wow, you got a 2nd and short for Kansas State, and they come up with another penalty. Bill Snyder is going to be beside himself. He's going to erupt, I bet, at halftime in his locker room with his players, as they cannot make those mistakes. You take a defense for Oklahoma, they have improved. They have taken the time over the loss they had against UCLA, 2 weeks now to prepare for this football game, and they're showing it on defense. We talked about the front 7 putting pressure on K-State. They've done that early in the first quarter and done a pretty good job throughout this game. And I think the secondary has played pretty well also, not allowing any big plays in the passing game.
Kansas State, 2nd delay of game penalty. They've had 2 false start penalties in their parade of flags. And now Webb is brought down at the 35-yard line as Zach Latimer gets the sack. But I mean, credit to that whole front up there in on the play.
No doubt about it. Alan Webb's just trying to make something out of nothing here because he's just trying to roll around and find an open receiver. He sees people in front of him and they're crimson shirts. He says, uh-oh, I got to run this way, and he realizes not going to happen. Gets down and tries to protect his body. He's taking some pretty good shots here tonight. Brent Venables, the defensive coordinator on the sideline for the Sooners, got to be pleased with this troops so far tonight.
Now they forced a 3rd and 18. The ball at the 36, and the crowd gets active again. They're silenced by that Peterson injury. The look-in is complete at the 38-yard line, making the reception Morera. Morera's been held under wraps. This is a guy that returned a punt for a touchdown last week. Also came in their leading receiver along with Nelson.
Big play receiver, big play ability, but not able to get on track. They bring out the punting team once again here. Let's see if we've got the same punter back there, because they've had some issues with the punter right now in this football game.
And if you're Oklahoma, you come after it again, Gary?
I think you do.
Why
I think
not?
You continue to put
16?
pressure on them. Maybe the operation's a little slow between the center and the punter. They get an advantage play here coming off the edge.
Here's Ryer. Rankins the deep man and nearly blocked. Rankins bobbled it a second and finally hangs on to it with 3:58 to go. Now here again is a look at the injury to Adrian Peterson. Watch the bodies fall on that right ankle, and then helped off after being down for a long time. And now it's sent it down to Jim Knox with more.
Okay, Adrian Peterson did get up, guys. He went over to the bench, stretched his right ankle out, then he came back over to the training table, and right now they are unwrapping his right ankle. Apparently, it's not good enough for him to get back out there.
All right, we'll see. As Oklahoma, 1st and 10 from the 27-yard line, and Red Bomar rolls out. And it is complete at the 40-yard line to Paul Thompson. Do you realize Oklahoma, we talk about the defense, the offense, Gary, passing yards, it had 11 passing yards until that play. Yep. No touchdown passes this year, so they've still got nothing settled offensively.
No, they need to get some consistency throwing the football, but this is something I think that Rhett Bomar can do. Misdirection, get him out on the edge, and then utilize somebody who knows the offensive system. That's Paul Thompson coming across the field from the opposite side and makes a good grab. Rhett Bomar, that's not a precision throw. That's down around Paul Thompson's knees.
So they credit him with 13 yards officially as Bomar goes deep this time, and it is incomplete. Again, Thompson, the intended receiver, as they're coming back to him.
Well, Paul Thompson, they told us he's going to be playing the X receiver primarily in the OU offense, and a lot of what they call fly routes or go routes by that X receiver, and tries to get a little movement here and get inside of the cornerback, but the ball is overthrown by Bomar. I think if the ball is in the vicinity of Paul Thompson, he's going to have a chance to catch that football with his size and leaping ability. Rhett Bomar needs to stick it on him.
Bomar's got 2 receptions. Wilson's got 2. Rather, Thompson and Wilson have 2 receptions. Bomar's completed 4 of 10 for 24 as the Sooners on a 2nd and 10. And Moses, James Moses, senior from Houston, getting his 3rd reception of the year. Well, the Sooners this year, you see,
that's the rushing yards this year and how big Adrian Peterson fits into that equation. Take a look at...
and Wilson got, what, 61 yards and 2 carries, 56 on that touchdown run against UCLA. So, yeah, Adrian has been the story. Timeout is called. We'll send it down to Jim Knox with 2:57 to go here. First half, 12-0 Oklahoma.
All right, thank you, Bill. Don't forget, college football fans, you can email us throughout tonight's game. Just log on to foxsports.com on MSN keyword Ask Knox. That's foxsports.com on MSN keyword. What's that, guys?
Ask Knox!
Email us, and we'll try to answer some of those questions in the second half, guys.
How long did it take him to put that little bit together?
Well, I heard earlier today on the telecast Texas A&M and Baylor, Joel Myers and Dave Lapham and John Radigan just asking if anybody can keep Jim Knox under control. Well, no, that's the answer to the question. You might see him in the Sooner Schooner before the night is all over, all right? Hey, next week, our college football quadruple header begins. Gary and I will have the opportunity to go up to Manhattan, see Kansas and Kansas State in the Sunflower State rivalry. And then Arizona will take on top-ranked USC. Who knows what will happen with the Trojans? And then Texas A&M and Colorado back in the Big 12, followed by another Pac-10 game. Oregon against 15th-ranked Arizona State that, if you haven't heard, gave USC all it wanted tonight. Coverage begins next Saturday. Our kickoff show at 11:30 Eastern, 8:30 a.m. Pacific. That's only on FSN.
I think that's a breakfast, lunch, and dinner Saturday here on FSN for football fans.
Well, as usual, you and Dave Lapham think groceries first,
gotta
and how it fits into your schedule.
Got to get the meals, got to get that handled, you know. And hey,
It used to be you thought about beverage. Now you're on the grocery side.
If you're trying to get comfortable and enjoy your day of football, you got to take care of the necessities.
Oh, what a way to go. You got to love it. 3rd and 3 for the Sooners from the 47. Bomar's pass complete to Wilson. And Wilson across to the 33-yard line of the Wildcats.
Well, nothing really spectacular here. It's just Travis Wilson gets into the zone defense here of K-State. It settles down, and Rhett Bomar, nice little toss and throw here to him. Finds his number 2 receiver. The number 2 man is from the outside in. He's just going to work right in here. Rhett Bomar, nice, easy throw and catch. Watch Wilson settle down there between the linebackers, make a catch, and get some yards afterward. And I think they need to find ways to get that to happen a little bit more. Just step back and throw it. Throw that ball on time.
Wilson got 20 on that grab. Tackled by Porter. Sets up 1st and 10, 33 of the Wildcats. Handoff right up the middle. Keywan Jones. And Jones goes to the 20-yard line. Well, Keywan Jones might be the best backup tailback in America, as Keywan Jones coming in 2,081 career yards rushing. He's only started 9 games in his career here in Norman.
Keywan's definitely got some running ability, but I tell you, he's got some blockers up front who's doing a good job for him. Take a look at the hole that is created here. Davin Joseph on the delay block, and then you got the kick-out block, which is what allows Keywan Jones to go there. That's going to be the right tackle coming around over there. That's Brandon Braxton, number 76, doing a good job on that pull.
1st and 10 at the 20. Bomar's pass tipped, nearly intercepted near the 6-yard line, as Watts was covering on the play. Here's a look at Marcus. First down lines brought to you by Overstock.com, your online outlet. It's all about the O, and it's now 2nd and 10. Crowd's gotten very quiet here as the defenses have dominated. K-State had a pretty decent drive this last time. Now Oklahoma coming back, and they've done it through the air mostly on this drive. 124 total yards of offense for the Sooners. 2nd and 10 at the 20, play clock at 2. Bomar looking for Wilson, fans looking for a flag, and there is none. Covering on the play was Brian Baldwin.
Rhett Bomar saw something. He stepped up the line of scrimmage, changed his play, and got Travis Wilson to come to the inside, trying to get the quick slant pattern to him. Got Joe John Finley out there going to the outside, and you take a look at Wilson coming behind. I think it's a pretty good play in the secondary. The ball was there and just contact. That would have been a tough catch for Travis Wilson.
Here's a look at what Rhett has done tonight. 6 of 14 for 51 yards. Still looking for that first passing touchdown. The only touchdown the Sooners have coming on a 22-yard run by Peterson. Bomar pump fakes. Across and complete down inside the 5-yard line. There's Finley with a reception.
Yeah, Joe John Finley does a good job of working on the coverage in the secondary. That's Maurice Porter, the free safety, having to take control of a big tight end. Joe John Finley, one of the better receiving tight ends in the Big 12 Conference, able to get away from him. You see the pump fake trying to get the safeties out of there, and Joe John comes underneath. Porter's having to deal with a big frame there. Good catch, good throw by Bomar.
Joe John, 3 grabs, 41 yards last week. This has been an 8-play drive and 67 yards. And right up the middle, Keywan Jones, touchdown, Oklahoma. His first score of the year. And a flag is thrown. They huddle.
Offside, left defensive end. Penalties decline, touchdown.
1:36 to go in the first half. Keywan Jones makes it 18-0.
Well, if you don't make mistakes with the football, you're going to have a chance to be productive, and that's what OU has done tonight. They don't have the same issues that they had 2 weeks ago against UCLA, dropping the snap from center, the ball sailing, fumbles being caused in the backfield. Take care of the football and give your offense a chance to perform, and that's what's happening here. And albeit not touchdowns through the air, good enough to get points on the board on the ground.
And Garrett Hartley stays perfect on the season with the PATs, and Keywan Jones coming on for the injured Adrian Peterson. And he is making an immediate impact against Bill Snyder's Wildcats.
Looks like the left side of the line is doing a good job closing things out. Kewan Jones runs through there. Bill, I think you could make this touchdown if you take it.
Like
Look at the hole here. My goodness, good job. No Wildcats even in the picture.
Kewan Jones, senior out of Tulsa, Oklahoma. Last year, 513 yards rushing. His best year is sophomore year, 925 yards and 14 touchdowns. Well, who can forget the performance of K-State's Darren Sproles in the 2003 Dr. Pepper Championship game in Kansas City on a cool night. The Sooners came in top ranked. Sproles, the Cats' all-time leading rusher, 235 yards on the ground. And he also took an L. Roberson past 60 yards for a touchdown. 13th ranked Kansas State over #1 Oklahoma 35-7. The Sooners went on to play LSU in the BCS championship game. But Bill Snyder got Kansas State's first conference championship since back in the mid-30s with Pappy Waldorf as the head.
Darren Sproles definitely a fan favorite at K-State and what he did there for his career, and now having I think a very nice career start to anyway with out there in San Diego with the Chargers, doing a good job in the kick return game. He's electrifying when he's got the ball in his hands.
Kansas State would like to have electrifying kick return, but it's booted out of the end zone, and the Wildcats will have 1:36 remaining. There are no timeouts left for either club, and let's go back down to Jim Knox.
All right, thank you, Bill. Continuing to follow the injury to Adrian Peterson, that right ankle. They retaped it for a second time, and directly behind me, he finally got up from the training table again. He's up on the sideline standing. He keeps shaking his head. It doesn't look like he'll be back in. I'll be surprised if he gets back in. What do you guys think?
I think it would be surprising for him to come back and play because he's been out of action so long. And if they ever start to ice that ankle, Jim, he's probably not going to have a chance to come back in the football game because he's going to be a little tight and it takes a little while for that ankle to get loosened up.
And if you control the football game as they are, why would you risk him anyway? 19-0, and Kansas State has really shown, on one drive, a glimmer of a hope offensively. They have 36 yards of total offense. First and 10 from the 20 for the Wildcats. And Webb chased again. Back on his own 6 and fires it to the Kansas State sideline.
Steve Coleman actually comes in there, number 90 for the Sooners. Does a good job at his two technique inside, causing pressure immediately on Allen Webb. Allen Webb is not finding any help up with his offensive line right now. The Sooners defense getting the pressure they need to put pressure on him, and there's no fan favorite here. No doubt about it. Coach Switzer making his way on the sideline.
Familiar area for the King, as he's known in Norton.
Look at the numbers that they have.
Yeah, look at that. They were 12th in the nation in rushing offense coming in here. 2nd and 10. And not much doing there again. Is Clayton, Ian Fisher, doesn't matter which one, they've had very little hope.
Well, the defense for Oklahoma has done a great job here containing Allen Webb, containing both Clayton and Fisher. They have not got anything on track, and the numbers speak for themselves right there. Just you see that the Wildcats only 38 total yards of offense here in this first half. Allen Webb has got to go to the locker room at halftime here and say, hey, we've got to find a way, one, to slow this defensive pressure down. We've got to get some running game going. Got to find a way to make something happen against this OU defense. It's pretty stingy tonight.
3rd down and 8. Clayton got a couple out near the 25. Ingram makes the tackle for Oklahoma with 24 seconds, and Oklahoma, of course, no timeouts available. K-State unable to stop it. Don't want to at this point.
No, they really don't. They're going to take it into halftime. And Brent Venables got to be happy about his defensive play. They've committed 8 and 9 players to the line of scrimmage, and his receivers, they've covered the receivers out well with their secondary, and Bill Snyder's got to find a way to get something going offensively.
Barry Switzer's the one that said he isn't the coach of the year, he's the coach of the decade. He's the coach of the country. Well, right now, Coach Snyder's club has been thoroughly whipped at the line of scrimmage here tonight and trailing 19-0 and Oklahoma with a gimpy Adrian Peterson fighting an ankle injury. Let's go down to Jim Knox with Oklahoma coach Bob Stoops.
Coach, you got to be extremely pleased. Defense in the name of the game tonight. Going into halftime, you guys limiting K-State's offense to a total of 41 yards.
We're playing good defense, and we've given the offense really good field position. We need to take a little more advantage of the field position we've had offensively, though.
Real quick, any word? Have you heard about Adrian Peterson? Looks like he's
just trying to get the tape comfortable with him.
Okay, appreciate it. Thanks, Coach. Bill?
All right, be interesting to follow that. Again, thanks to Coach Stoops. Halftime score, 19-0. Now let's join Mike Goldberg, Billy Ray Smith, and DeMarco Farah for our College Football Saturday halftime. Halftime in Norman, Big 12 action. Oklahoma 19-0 leader over Kansas State. And the big story, of course, Adrian Peterson, a 22-yard touchdown run, the first touchdown of the night for Oklahoma, then a high ankle sprain, and he came out. They've tried to tape it a couple of times. We'll find out if he plays in the second half. 8 carries, 51 yards for Peterson. Bill Land, Gary Reason's back with you up top here at Memorial Stadium. But the story's not Peterson. The story is the Oklahoma defense.
They've been superb tonight. They've done a great job containing Allen Webb, quarterback for Kansas State. He hasn't been able to get anything going. And then the pursuit of the football, the OU defense, I think they were challenged after the past 2 weeks in practice to show up tonight, and they certainly have. The linebackers have all played well. Everyone has gone to the football extremely well here at Allen Webb, and the running attack for Kansas State. They have gotten nowhere to go, and the yardage for Kansas State offensively is abysmal. They have not been able to do anything really well. Kansas State just 41 total yards. You look at the time of possession here, they've had the ball more than OU, but I tell you, the turnovers, the things that go wrong for K-State, they have got the penalties, 60 yards in this football game, and Bill Snyder's got a lot of problems right now on his side of the field.
Boy, that is the case. The Staples stats telling the story there. Those penalties have been killers for Kansas State. The first touchdown for Oklahoma came following a late hit, which enabled them to get a first down situation. In fact, their first down of the night came on that penalty, and then later on it stopped a K-State drive, and well, you could just go on and on. It will be interesting to see how Kansas State responds to the start of the second half. They're getting their hands on the football to start things off, as the Oklahoma kicker Hartley is ready. And out of the end zone, let's send it down to Jim Knox.
All right, Bill, just got through to talking to Bill Snyder, head coach of Kansas State. He told me, hey, he's not really worried about the offense. He's worried about his kicking game. He's not happy with his specialty teams. Also, in the second half, he says, we're going to play error-free football. If we do that, everything else will take care of itself. We'll see.
Interesting. He's not worried about his offense because they haven't done anything tonight. Sure, there's been a couple of miscues with the special teams, but if you don't get anything going offensively, you're going to have not only a long night, but a long season here in the Big 12.
Well, both coaches, visiting with them throughout the week, indicated that they're going to have to keep mistakes to a minimum, and K-State has not been able to do that. It's been that in a real nutshell here. 1st and 10 from the 20, and Clayton, after the fake to him, Webb carries the football out to the 35-yard line, and he gets a first down on a 15-yard carry. And let's take a look again, our Dodge keys to victory tonight, and see how things have panned out.
Well, K-State, we thought they need to be an offensive that's balanced, 21 yards rushing, 20 yards passing. Well, that's balanced, but there's no production there. And I think defensively make OU one-dimensional. They really haven't done that. OU's run the football. They've passed okay, hasn't been great. I want them to start fast. They were shut out in the first half. Great job by the OU defense.
Best play of the night for K-State, that 15-yard carry by Webb. So they get off to a good start. And it's 1st and 10 once again. And somebody forgot to tell Dusty the play before that started the second half, as he certainly said hello to start that play off with Dvorak.
Well, Dusty Dvorak, I tell you, he's the heart and soul of this defensive front here. And the young man does a good job coming up inside right here, and he's going to create havoc right there. You got a guard pulling. He gets right in his hip pocket, gets around the center, blocking back, and right on the tailback. Nowhere to go. Good job by Dusty Dvorak, showing speed, power, getting in that backfield.
Coming back from a left bicep tear. Also some off-the-field problems. Has turned his life around, and boy, he's turning this OU defense around here tonight. 2nd and 14 from the 31. Webb, and incomplete as he bounces it in at the 47-yard line looking for Morera.
Nothing really there for Allen Webb to throw the ball to. Take a look at his production tonight here on 3rd down. Not very good for the K-State Wildcats. 3 of 8 coming into this game. They were getting 63% completions on third down, so brings up a 3rd and long situation here. You take a look at the average starting position or the third down position for K-State in the first half, and it was, what was it, Bill?
13. 3rd and 13.
13, that's amazing. You're going backwards instead of going forward, and that's not easy for an offense to make up that ground.
The greatest of offenses are not going to make a living in that kind of situation. So here it's 3rd and 14. Fits into the mold. Webb pulls it down. Now fires. Picked off. Oklahoma with the interception. Smith takes it down to the 32-yard line. Reggie Smith. They've been raving about this 6'1" freshman. He gets his first start tonight, and the safety responds with an INT.
Well, Reggie Smith, the freshman from Edmond Santa Fe High School here in Edmond, just north of Oklahoma City, doing a good job of just being out there and being aware of the football. Alan Webb, probably this is an unwise throw for him to make it, and he's rolling to his left. He's hoping to try to make a first down here for his Wildcat football team, but he throws it, and Reggie Smith underneath undercuts that football, and he's an all-purpose player. They like him in this kick return game for the Sooners, and don't be surprised if you see Reggie Smith as a wide receiver at some point here in his career with Oklahoma.
See Webb's reaction as Kansas State comes out, gets first 15 yards on the first play of the second half, and they forced to being in the 3rd and long and the pick. How about our Oklahoma Dodge Keys to Victory update?
Boy, I think a big day for the offensive line. They've done a pretty good job. No sacks. They've allowed their quarterback to operate back there, running the ball pretty well. And Bomar, he hasn't been great. He's been efficient, though. No mistakes, and that's the key that you want to have with that football team. And I think the front four, they've done a great job. They've pressured Alan Webb all night. They had the sacks and the hurries that I think they needed to get.
Well, Kewan Jones, who scored the 2nd touchdown for Oklahoma, stopped by Quentin Eccles, a junior out of Fort Worth Wyatt. And Bob Stoops told Jim Knox there at the half that he goes, I'd like to see us take better advantage of our opportunities in the short field. Here's a pretty good example as we take a look at our first down line, brought to you by Overstock.com. Visit Overstock.com today and start saving. It's all about the O.
Well, opportunities, that's exactly what this is right here. Good field position. You want to be able to put points on the board and convert these opportunities more times than you're turned away.
2nd and 9. Kewan Jones. What a burst for the Hickson as he breaks it and nearly scores.
Well, nice quick hitting play here inside for OU. Dante Hickson gets through the hole very, very quickly, Bill, on this play.
Dante Hickson, his 2nd carry of the season, and he picks up 22 yards.
That's coming right at you here. You see Dante just squirt through there. Nobody there at the linebacker level for K-State to even slow him down whatsoever. Good job up front, hat on hat by block. The offensive line, I think, has done a great job here tonight for Oklahoma. Really doing a good job in the running game in particular.
1st and goal from the 8-yard line. Beaumont, keeper, touchdown Oklahoma. Rhett Bomar gave the little fake, took it right up the middle, and the Sooners take advantage of the pickoff by Smith and score after the turnover.
That's a big hole here, blocked down here. Quarterback reads it there and goes right past the linebacker. He overruns the play. That's Ted Sims, the middle linebacker. He's the one responsible for Rhett Bomar on that play, but overran it, and Bill Snyder's got some things to think about with his defense out there.
Now for the point after. Hartley's kick is good. So Bomar, an 8-yard touchdown run, set up by Hickson's scamper and initially started because of the turnover. And the Sooners 26-0 now, early 3rd quarter. The University of Oklahoma, folks a whole lot happier here now than they were prior to the start of tonight's game. Sooners coming in 1-2, K-State 3-0. Oklahoma, a 3-play scoring drive, if you will, brought to you by Acura. Bomar capped it off for the 8-yard run.
Things have gone well defensively for Oklahoma. The offense is clicking a little bit, running the football. The thing they still haven't gotten in gear, though, is the big play passing game. They're used to seeing that here from Jason White over the last several years, but haven't had to do it tonight. Done a good job taking opportunities and turning those into points and doing some things here that they haven't been characteristically done in the first 3 ball games of the year.
Touchback, 1st and 10 at the 20 for Kansas State. Adrian Peterson suffering through the injury tonight, but before he left, An exciting 22-yard touchdown run this evening and got some tough yards throughout the evening, and there's the injury.
He's trying to walk that off, and they've tried taking the tape off and retaping it and getting him to walk around. And I tell you, walking out here, coming on the sideline, you see him there now just trying to stretch it out. I don't know exactly what all is going on with him there, but he's trying to get it ready to go.
All right, Kansas State, as Peterson tries to see if he can come back and play. K-State 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line. And it is complete to Morera, reaching for as many things as he can get down to the 27.5-yard line. Make it figures, I beg your pardon. Let's go back to Jim Knox.
Hey, Bill and Gary, real quick. Adrian Peterson came out in the second half, and he had an ankle brace on that right ankle. He didn't like it. He took it off, and right now he continues to be on the bench trying to work that ankle out. They retaped it twice, had the ankle brace on, didn't like any of that. He's just trying to stretch it out on the bench right now, trying to walk on that sidelines, trying to get some type of feel there. It's going to be interesting to see if he does go back in.
Yeah, you can tell his face pretty well tells you he's not feeling comfortable with it there. That expression certainly displayed that. 2nd and 3 at the 27 now for the Wildcats. And Webb hands it off. Nothing doing for Clayton as Dvorak makes the tackle.
Well, Bill, it is a big thing for Oklahoma to have Adrian Peterson out of the game, but now you look at the situation. They're up 26-0. Do you need to have Adrian Peterson go back into the football game and let him go out there not less than 100% and not able to go? I don't think so. I think it'd be the smart move for him to go ahead and cut the tape off, as it looks like he's going to do, and put some ice on that thing and hopefully get him, back in shape. You've got a long conference schedule ahead of you. You need that young man to go.
What's up next week? Somebody pretty good, I think, that usually gets a lot of attention. Oh, Texas down at the Cotton Bowl in Texas, hammering Missouri today. Yeah, that's just interesting how they're trying to handle it to see if he can come back or not. Well, the pass complete for the first down, and getting loose is Nelson. Nelson, did he step out? No, all the way. Touchdown, Kansas State. The Wildcats finally answer. 73 yards, and Kansas State is on the scoreboard.
Jordy Nelson shows some pretty good speed here as a wide receiver. You're going to have Reggie Smith, the free safety, come over and not be the strong safety, not be able to make the tackle on the sideline. Jordy Nelson runs out of that, spins around, and takes it down for the score for Kansas State.
This place that it got very loud. Fans are bloodthirsty after a 1-2 start, and their team up 26-0. Now it's going to say, whoa, wait a minute here. 26-6, and for the point after is Jeff Snodgrass, junior out of Leawood, Kansas. And Snodgrass hits the PAT. He is now 12 of 12 on the season. And the Wildcats strike with a 73-yarder, Webb to Nelson, and he got away from Smith. 10:54 to go, third quarter, 26-7 Oklahoma. Welcome back to Gaylord Family Oklahoma Memorial Stadium, where the Sooners lead at 26-7. But it's Kansas State on the board most recently. An accurate scoring drive, 3 plays, 80 yards. Last 73, obviously, Webb to Nelson, and he showed some blistering speed.
Yeah, Jordy Nelson turned it on the Jets here after he spins out of a missed tackle by Reggie Smith there on the sideline. But, a good job there by Kansas State. Hey, just doing what you can to make plays here. Now you've got points on the board. You got to have some, you got to be happy about that to some degree, but they've got a lot more work to do.
So the kickoff, Snodgrass with the kick. And taken by Smith inside the 5. Smith sees a hole. 25, 30, cuts back again. Drags one with him out to the 42-yard line. 38 yards in the return.
Well, nothing wrong with missing a tackle on the sideline and coming back and answering with a pretty good kick return. That's Reggie Smith, and they feel like he's got excellent skills to help this football team in a number of ways. Not only from the defensive side, but getting back here on the kick returns. He also does some punt return work, but he's not on that field on that team right now. But he's got ability, and they knew from day one that this young man was going to be a talented player here for the University of Oklahoma. And he's in the lineup right now defensively and doing a good job of the kick return game as well.
Going to redeem himself there a little bit. 1st and 10, ball on the 40-yard line for Oklahoma. Omar going deep, and it is incomplete. Intended for Travis Wilson. Well, Oklahoma said they wanted to play mistake-free, and here's why. Because if you take a look at this year to last year coming into this evening's game, there's quite a turnover story, Gary.
Well, in 04 and 05, a lot of differences there. You take in 04, they had 9 balls intercepted and 9 fumbles lost, a total of 18. But already this year, they had 9 already coming in this ball game, but they have none so far this season, in this ball game tonight. So they've been able to protect that football. They haven't done so in the first 3 ball games of the year, but right now they're doing a pretty good job, and that's some things that they worked on over the last couple of weeks in practice.
Their turnover margin was 109th in the country, -1 per game, so that's big. Kansas State had come in even on the year as far as turnover margin. And carrying the football, Kewan Jones. Second down, or third down, I should say now, after Jones' carry. How about Kansas State? The first 39 plays of the game, they get 59 yards of offense and then the 73-yard touchdown pass. So big plays can bail you out. We need a few more of them, though. They're going to get back in this one. 3rd and 7. Oklahoma dominating the rushing game, and Kansas State pushing them back here, though. Red Bomar keeping it, and it'll be a punting situation. So the Wildcats get the big play for the score, 3 and out. Who knows?
Kind of a conservative approach there on 3rd and 7.5, almost 8 yards. They decide to go with the run play inside, and Bomar takes it a shot there inside, electing not to throw the ball.
Yeah, we were sitting a few minutes ago before that big play saying, why would you risk Peterson? Well, game's not over. That's why, Bill. Kansas State showing you, hey, momentum can change. You don't put Peterson in if your offense can continue to maintain without it. They go 3 and out on this one, though. And the punt now by Cody Freeby booms it and carried into the end zone. It'll be a touchback there as Morera downs it, and nice job by Cody Freeby. All right, Kansas State trying to gain the momentum. Now 26-7, get the ball back when we come back. Welcome back to Norman at Memorial Stadium. We're in field, the Sooners, 26-7 leaders. And
got to learn to spell out here.
That's right. They like that. Taking care of us at FSN. You want to get on? There's the kind of sign you need to do. 1st and 10 at the 20. Webb in trouble and smothered. Ingram sandwiched him near the 17-yard line.
Well, we're just pointing out some grammatical errors.
There was?
Yeah, you need to have another S in there. That's what we're pointing out. Just trying to help the education here.
Well, we'll check out your education with our Dr. Pepper trivia question here for you, with the Sooners leading at 26-7. And in 2003, Kansas State won its first Big 12 title. In what year did KSU win its last title prior to 2003? If you're paying attention to the first half, you might know the answer to that. 2nd and 13 on the 17-yard line for the Wildcats. Webb. Victor Mann hit hard just as he was about to make the reception.
You know, Victor Mann is kind of like J.D. Runnels here from Oklahoma, a young man who's a tough physical fullback and a guy that like to throw the ball to out in the backfield. And more than anything, Bill, I think he's got a great character guy, and that's what J.D. Runnels is, and Victor Mann very much the same way.
Yeah, Mann hit by Thibodeau on that play, and being involved in the community is something everybody stresses. Not everybody does, but look at Victor Mann as he was named to the coach's Good Works team, mentoring to at-risk students, assisting with Read to Achieve and Cats for Kids, and just involved in all areas on and off the field. Doesn't get much attention on the field. He's mainly a blocking back, but he also is a pretty good receiver. Took a big hit to break that one out. 3rd and 13 now for Kansas State. 17, and Morera makes the reception short of the first down at the 25-yard line, I believe, where Bassie makes the tackle.
I think it's going to be short, incomplete pass, actually going to bring up a 4th down. Actually, they did call it a complete pass, so it's just going to be short, a couple of yards here for the bring up 4th down, Bill.
Rankins will go deep as Ryer is on the field. We were talking to some of the folks here in Norman, and everyone buzzing at halftime, but never seeing a game where the punter was nowhere near the field on 4th down to kick out of his end zone like Ryer was. And some of the OU fans said, no. Back in the 90s, there was, against North Texas, an Oklahoma punter. I thought was nowhere near.
Not a good effort there.
And Ryer may wishes he didn't go on. He has really had a tough night. Had one block, missed the play. So the kicking game woes continue. Well, we're talking about Victor Mann, and he had a chance to tell us a little bit about one of the projects he's been most proud of.
There was a time where they was thinking about, maybe shutting down some of the elementary schools in Manhattan, and we went out and read to the students and, mingled with the teachers and things like that. I mean, it really felt good with me and the other student athletes to get to know a lot of those people and just be a support to them. And I mean, that's a great feeling. That's one thing that I remember for the rest of my life.
Yeah, there's a lot of things you take away with college football, not just playing on the field, and Victor Mann, something off the field that he's going to remember for the rest of his life.
Well, the Sooners go to Paul Thompson, and there's a big tie-up downfield, and a flag is thrown near the 10-yard line. And Garvin was the corner that was covering, sophomore from Miramar, Florida. They'll sort it out here. 7:31 to go in the third quarter.
Number 6 on the defense, pass interference. That penalty is declined. Roughing the passer on the defense. That penalty is accepted. 15 yards, first down.
Oh, I didn't see the roughing the passer.
No, I didn't. We're looking at the football here down the field and had the pass interference down there. They're not going to accept that. That's a 10-yard penalty. Get the 15-yarder against roughing the quarterback here. Rhett Bomar on the play action fake, throwing it down in 1-2 steps. And
Stevie Birch, I think, the roughing the passer call on the junior from Detroit, Michigan.
Yeah, number 97 coming from the left side, Steve Birch there. His hands to the face, too, so definitely a good call by the officials.
So the Sooners, 1st and 10, ball on the 29-yard line now. Red Bomar steps, fires, complete. Wilson inside the 5-yard line. 1st and goal, Oklahoma. Baldwin and Watts trying to cover on the play. A 28-yard reception.
Well, Bill, this is what you call a skinny post. You got Travis Wilson on the outside. He takes a couple of steps in and then runs up the hash mark. Rhett Bomar throws a laser here. This is about as good a ball as I've seen Rhett Bomar throw since he's become an Oklahoma Sooner. Good job of delivering it out front of him. Lets Travis Wilson run with the ball after the catch, and good job here. You're going to see the receiver go outside. Bubba Moses out there and take the inside, the skinny post as I talked about, and good throw and catch by those two.
Bomar's longest pass play of the season for 28 yards. His previous best 27, and it's 1st and goal from the 4-yard line. And right up the middle, Kewan Jones, who scored a touchdown earlier. Archer covering on the play. Oklahoma spread out the scoring. Peterson, as well as Jones and Bomar with touchdowns. And Hartley a field goal, and then they got the safety when the ball was centered out of the end zone for Kansas State when punter Ryer didn't show.
You know, Oklahoma's pretty well in control of this football game, and Bob Stoops took it links to practice 6 times last week. Didn't miss a day of practice, and this is just another situation where you've got your offense out there with an opportunity to knock on the door, and this is a practice situation. You want to make perfect here with an opportunity in the red zone.
Touchdown, Oklahoma, Kewan Jones. So the Sooners answer after Kansas State had scored, and then the Sooners turned it back to them. Now Oklahoma tacks on another 6.
Well, just a reset here, then the block's coming around. Good job of taking it inside, and nobody even to block there for the guard coming around on it. That's J.D. Quinn trying to find somebody to hit, but he didn't have anyone there in the hole, and good job up front. They outmanned Kansas State at the point of attack.
2 yards on the touchdown run for Jones, his 2nd score of the night. And Garrett Hartley will try to convert again on the PAT. He does. And Jim Knox is down on the field somewhere.
Actually, right now, Bill, we're coming out on the Boomer Schooner right here. Here we go. Hey, these guys, you know, it's a mess in here. They need a maid, I think. But this guy, you guys having a good time?
Oh, yeah, go Sooners.
After every score, of course, the Schooner comes out, does a lap. That was a nice turn there, a little bumpy. And back we come. Ow, that pole just hit me in the head right there. All right, we made it. Good sound, guys. Thanks. Good ride, good ride.
I hit somebody.
Yeah, me.
Is there anything more fun than college football?
How much did he have to pay to get that right? Pretty good stuff.
I don't know, but I think
he
got his money's worth.
He promised a little airtime. Okay,
That's right.
What he did.
That's right. Everybody likes the camera, right? So the Scooter rolling tonight without problems as Bob Stoops' club now up 33-7. And Hartley will get ready to tee it up as Kewan Jones, second score of the night. Here's a look at it.
Taking a look at Kewan Jones here, getting behind his fullback. On the offensive line, there's hat on hat here, hat on hat here, hat here. And this, J.D. Quinn has nobody to block. Who do I block, Coach?
So the kickoff. Hartley booms it. Do it like that. You don't need to worry about the return game of Morera and crew. Fox NFL Sunday. Don't forget the pregame show that starts your way at 12 o'clock Eastern time. And following the doubleheader, you see the games that are available in your area. Another great day of NFL football only on Fox.
Well, did Jim survive that ride?
Yeah, we haven't heard from him, have we?
You got to get him out of that schooner.
Oh, he is alive and well. You surviving all right, Jim?
Survived. Thanks to these two guys. Appreciate it, guys. Nice run, nice run. I think it's the last run for me tonight, guys.
Third quarter, 6:18 to go. All right, the unsportsmanlike conduct was the penalty assessed. So as a result, Kansas State will get the football 15 yards further up the field, 1st and 10 at the 35. Webb got hit just as he threw it, incomplete. Intended for Nelson.
He's been under duress all night. The Sooner front seven has done a good job of putting pressure with the linebackers and also the defensive line there. And everything has been right in the face of Alan Webb. He hasn't been able to step in and throw a comfortable football all night.
And the K-State woes have been added to with 2 short punts and an interception that have all been turned into 3 touchdowns. It started those drives in Kansas State territory. So field position, turnovers, penalties, all been big factors here tonight in this Oklahoma 33-7 lead. 2nd and 10. Webb to throw it again. Got time and finds a man, figures, as Yaman, the junior out of Lakeland, Florida, makes the reception and moves the chains.
Trying to do a little matchup zone defense in the secondary. Reggie Smith, watch him right here. He's going to try to match up with the number 2 receiver as he comes inside, and he misses him there. You see the 1 step behind. Good job by Alan Webb of finding him, but Reggie Smith got to read that a little better there. He's taking that receiver to the inside to the outside. He just got one behind him.
20 yards on the play for the Wildcats of Kansas State. Alan Webb, the junior from Denver, trying to get them going here. K-State will have Kansas next week in a game that'll be seen on FSN. Gary, I'll be up in Manhattan, Kansas, the Little Apple. And there's still a lot of time left here tonight. They're going to have to tighten things up mistake-wise. Alexander makes the tackle on this play.
You throw one down the middle of the field, and you get some field position, and now it opens up your run game. A lot of things can happen. And, you know, when you're in a 3rd and long situation, which is what K-State has been operating in all night because the Sooner defense has been so good. Bill Snyder, I don't care what you call, Coach. It's tough to execute, and they've had too many of those things go against them tonight 8 or 9 times on 3rd and long, 3rd and over 10.
2nd and 8 here from the 43 of the Sooners. Webb, play action. Got a man, and it's complete to Victor Mann. 25, broke a tackle. Look at the strength of Mann as he bulls his way down to the 7-yard line. CJIU, the junior out of Highland, Utah, makes the tackle.
Well, a couple of missed tackles on that, and old Victor Mann does a good job of rumbling out of the backfield here. You see the fullback lineup. He comes out, and good job of protection here. Good toss over the blitz. He just ran right past the blitzing linebackers, Victor Mann does, and then he rumbles along, and pretty good load there coming down the field. Bumbling and stumbling, but
36 yards.
There, yeah.
And 1st and goal from the 7 for the Kansas State Wildcats. Clayton keeps those legs moving, but nothing doing. basically no game. Maybe they'll give him a yard on his forward progress as Nick Harris led the way.
Now, Thomas Clayton's had a tough night all night here, and I tell you, it's not been easy to go against this Oklahoma Sooner defense for him and his running game in particular for Kansas State. Take a look at K-State on the season, 12 opportunities, 7 touchdowns, and a couple of field goals. That's 75%. That's kind of low in the Big 12 as far as opportunities once you get in the red zone. You want to get that up into the high 80s and 90s percentile for opportunities down there.
Hard to judge all the stats, though, that are non-conference with the variety of schedules, and K-State having a softer group than, of course, Oklahoma. Now when you get into Big 12 and you go head-to-head, those stats mean a little bit more. Webb in trouble and brought down, a sack on the play. Clint Ingram. Ingram, the senior, who's had a couple of interceptions this season, one for a touchdown against Tulsa, breaks through here.
Well, Bill, I think this has just got to be a break here, the offense, because Alan Webb is doing a rollout here. He's got the fake on the sweep play here to the left. Well, they're all going to come this way, but there's no receivers out here for Alan Webb to even look at. Look at everybody back here is a white jersey, and Sooners just track him down.
Sets up 3rd and 11. 3rd and goal from the 11, I should say. 3rd and goal from the 11. 3:14 to go in the 3rd quarter. Crowd making a racket again. Webb. Clayton in the backfield with it. Webb sets up. Fires. Got a man. Touchdown, Kansas State. The Wildcats get another touchdown, this time through the air, as Rashid Norwood with the score. Norwood with his first touchdown of the year, and the Wildcats make it 33-13.
Yeah, I think it's actually his first catch of the year. The tight end hasn't had a ball thrown to him. That's a good job of working inside. He's going to be on Rufus Alexander, number 42. Watch him get to the inside position of him, and the ball just zip laser there up to it. And I think Rufus kind of got turned around, did not see the football, and pretty good throw there, sticking it on in there by Alan Webb.
Norwood's pass reception. It's a 33-13, the sophomore out of Kansas City Schlegel High School, and Wildcats will try to go for 2 in the point after situation. And Webb rolling out, drops it in the end zone and got it again. Yes, he did. The 2-point conversion is complete. And that was Norwood again.
Norwood on the side. The end zone does a good job of keeping his feet inbounds, and Alan Webb waiting to the very last second to deliver that football. The Cats come up with a couple of points there on the point after attempt here. We'll play action and roll out and watch him go all the way to the sideline here. We're going to look at this. We've got good grab. He is definitely, I think he's in bounds and been forced out.
Fans disagree, and remember, we do have instant replay made available to.
Well, he catches the football. Watch 1 foot. It's 1 foot in college football, and looks to me like his foot is in the red, not on the white, so that's probably going to be a pretty good catch.
And again, we remind you, with instant replay in the Big 12, the number one thing is to remember is it indisputable, and if it's not, and it's not very quickly, they're not going to spend 5 minutes looking at plays.
No, I don't think that that's something that they're going to look at too long because they don't have a clear angle. We've probably seen 2 or 3 angles here. And those are all fed to the replay booth, and they can actually manipulate live television, also the replays within the booth, so they have a lot of ways to look at it. And
yeah, they're getting a disc. They're looking at replays when we're not. And that's what folks may not understand. And as far as the plays that are reviewable, we'll give you a look here, as much of college football is going to
the
replay.
What we're looking at here is a pass completion also and out of bounds, whether or not that was on the line and in the end zone. His foot looked to me like he was inside in the red paint. But right now
they are reviewing it.
Yeah, we're hearing that they're reviewing that play. So, before this kickoff here, they'll have a chance to figure that out. How that works in the Big 12 is the referee, he's not actually reviewing the play as you would in the NFL. It's actually done in the replay booth. They've got the feeds that we give them from the TV truck goes up to the booth, and they have a chance to take a look at all those different angles that we have. And here's one angle that they're looking at. And the referee's just standing and waiting on the sideline. Take another look at the back of the end zone there. And it looks like that's a grab and a foot in bounds for me. And as you said, Bill, it has to be indisputable evidence to overturn a play. And if it's not indisputable, if it's too hard to find, they're not going to overturn this. But they're taking it to take a look at it. It's a play under review.
After review, the play stands as called. The conversion is good.
And Here's an idea, too. And so far this year, they have had, there you go, the stats. 26 games as far as plays reviewed. 19 out of 26 games. 10 have been overturned. And the average length of the review, 1 minute and 36 seconds. That's better than anything that ever happens in the NFL, in my opinion.
I think it's a very efficient system, how it's worked here in the Big 12 Conference, and I think it's something that they need to continue. And I think it's a good process for them. And I think, as we go along here, the coaches, the fans, they're getting comfortable with this process, and I think that it's working pretty well.
Kickoff here. Oklahoma to receive. Smith, who had a nice return on the last one, takes this one from the 4. And Smith breaks a tackle. Finally stopped at the 17, making the 16-yard line. And yeah, we do, before we leave that replay thing, I want to emphasize again that the replay official sitting in the booth up in the press box is constantly reviewing plays, whether you're seeing them or not. And that is something that sometimes is not totally understand. Fans are wondering, well, why didn't they review it? They are. On this case, he saw something enough that he decided to say, we need a timeout, I want to double check. But many times they're reviewing plays in between plays, and they see no reason to stop it, they move on. But it's not like they're just sitting up there waiting.
They've got a pretty elaborate system up there, a couple of monitors to look at, the replay machines, and they can freeze plays and go back and watch any play they want. They stop them and start them on the play, and it's instantaneous. So they have a lot of ability that you're probably not even aware of, but they are, as you said, reviewing plays constantly throughout the ballgame. If there's something they need to review, they'll buzz the officials on the field.
Dante Hickson, the ball carrier. This guy, as you take a look at the total yards this quarter, is a senior out of McKinney, Texas, who has had the best season he had was 03, 306 yards rushing. His high school career, 2,581 rushing yards and 31 touchdowns as a senior. He also had 2 400-yard rushing games. And it just tells you the level of talent that is in a place like University of Oklahoma, where it's all he can do to get into the lineup here with the Sooners. And Kewan Jones is another case. A guy who's had over 2,000 career yards, 2 touchdowns tonight. He's been a big factor in the absence of Peterson.
Well, Adrian Peterson out of the mix, but you take Kewan Jones in there, who's been a veteran in this offensive system for a number of years, and he's come in and played with Quentin Griffin as well and Adrian Peterson a year ago. So a 1-2 punch, you bring him in, you do not lose a lot of efficiency with this offense. He's a very talented back, and you talk about Dante Hickson as well. They've got talented players here in the backfield for the Sooners.
3rd and 7, ball on the 19. Bomar fires complete out to the 37-yard line. Joaquin Iglesias, a freshman from Killeen, Texas, is another guy they're excited about. He makes his first grab.
Yeah, they saw him in camp this fall, and they said, hey, this guy is a very special athlete. He's very talented. Just got to get him in, balanced into the system here and get him ready to go. And you take a look at one of the cats here on the Wildcats on the turf. Get his number.
Eccles. Defensive tackle, Quentin Eccles, the injured player.
Yeah, but Iglesias is a receiver that they feel like has a bright future. He's got a lot of speed, a lot of ability, and he was a bright spot in fall camp, got some early playing time, and here as a true freshman getting a chance to show what he can do.
Chuck Long, one of the coordinators here, talking to us about trying to get a few more players, those younger guys involved in the passing game. And there again is the benefit of having a week off and as many practices. You get Iglesias on track, you get a guy like Paul Thompson some reps, and all of a sudden that wide receiver core now looks a whole lot more threatening.
And with the wide receiver play, I think that the quarterback play is going to be improved if your offensive line continues to improve. And these guys, I think they played pretty well tonight across the board. They rolled some guys through there, and that's what they want to do is build depth. When you take guys out of the mix like they've had in the past, Vince Carter, Jamal Brown, and others, you've got a lot of starts among them. Have a look here at Kewan Jones getting some good yardage, but that offensive line really is the key to set everything in motion. Your running game, your passing game, and I think everyone's play is going to be improved across the board. At least the productivity will be once your offensive line continues to play. You take a look at Shashawn here, number 70. He is actually one of the players that Kevin Wilson, the offensive run coordinator here for Oklahoma, called out. He's a senior player, said, hey, he has not played to the level that he's capable of playing, and I think he took that to heart. And other players across that offensive front, they have got to step up, and not to just single Kelvin out, but he has got to play better across, and all of them across the board for this offensive unit to be productive.
Yeah, they have really challenged the seniors. Hickson, the ball carrier on that play, to say that hey, these guys have performed.
Sure.
They're not. They've got to. And meanwhile, they've got those freshmen who they understand the learning curve is going to take a while, but they're continuing to mix players in. And I think that's part of the frustration is they felt this team would be so much stronger than it has been.
Yeah, Chris Bush, number 52 as well. One of those guys that's a senior that's up there that they feel like needs to produce well. And they've done a pretty good job tonight. I think when they look at this tape, that what they've done against Kansas State, at least so far, I think Bob Stoops is probably going to be pleased, as will Kevin Wilson.
Seconds of the quarter, Bomar wanted to end it with a bang. He's at the 30, the 20, turning it on and knocked out of bounds at the 11-yard line in the final play of the third quarter. Look at the emotion he displays. A flag is thrown near the 27-yard line.
Well, you know why? Bob Stoops is very high on this young man. It's that explosiveness. I'm up here saying, wow.
Foul, 92 on the defense.
I'm up here saying, wow, because he turned onto another gear at the line of scrimmage. When he saw that hole and went to the north end zone and then cut back across the grain, he showed the speed and ability he has where he can become a dual threat quarterback. Is his running game better than his passing game right now? You bet it is. He's a more better runner than he is a passer. That's going to come in time with more reps on the field.
42 yards on that play to end the quarter with a penalty to boot against Kansas State. That's the end of the third quarter. Oklahoma 33, Kansas State 15. You're watching College Football Saturday presented by Kyocera on FSN.
It's uncensored.
What a gentleman.
Unrated. Uncut. Holy It's the never-before-seen DVD. Family Guy presents Stewie Griffin, The Untold Story. Only on DVD today.
And I would do anything for love. Oh,
33-15 as we enter the fourth quarter on Kyocera's College Football Saturday here in Norman. Bill Land, Gary Reasons up top. Jim Knox and the Schooners down on the field. Take a look at our Nissan game summary. Adrian Peterson, 51 yards rushing, but left the game in the second quarter with the ankle sprain and has not been able to return. He's retaped it a couple of times, different braces. Kewan Jones, one of his replacements, pair of touchdowns. Look at the third quarter, though, here. Yeah. Offense.
ASU doing some things offensively, 163 yards. Oh, you not too bad, 137 as well.
This was a 19-0 game at halftime. And as we start the fourth quarter, 33-15, you see Kansas State with a passing game has been going. Oklahoma, Hickson trying to get in. Flag is thrown. He does score.
I think it might be a face mask on the defense. Looked like a hand might have got around the top of Hickson's helmet there. Let's take a look.
Holding number 89 on the offense.
Ooh.
10 yards, first down.
Bring it back.
Thought I saw a face mask there. Bubba Moses is going to be flagged for the penalty here.
Going to 13.
So Dante Hickson denied the opportunity for the touchdown. Hickson just one carry coming into the game this evening.
Let's take a look at it here on the right side of your screen. See Bubba Moses right there. See the contact there, and you see the jersey being pulled. It's a pretty good call by the officials. I thought right there at the end might have had a face mask, but let's have a look at
it. First and goal from the 13. Kewan Jones, as he and Hickson are alternating just about every other play. And he is stopped near the 12-yard line. Byron Garvin makes the tackle for Kansas State.
Well, going to bring up a third down here. Excuse me, a second and long now.
There's Kewan Jones' work tonight.
Just thinking here if they're going to try to attempt a pass to get a passing touchdown. Still on the season, no passing touchdowns yet for the Sooners. That's remarkable here. 3/4 of the way through the fourth ball game of the season.
All right, but they've already got 33. Let's see. Second down. Bomar. Going to run it. And he is stopped inside the 5-yard line. And it'll be third down and goal now.
Well, he had a receiver in the back of the end zone, and he does not throw the football to him. And I think he had Manuel Johnson coming across the back. You take a look here. Pretty good hit coming from the inside.
I think Rhett Bomar did not play on particularly great high school football teams. Played for his father at Grand Prairie, and they did not get into the playoffs. I'm guessing, Gary, that he's had to be the show. And here, when you've got his kind of ability, I can see where if he doesn't find somebody early, sometimes there's still a tendency to say, well, I'll just tuck it and go.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that because that's a smart play. It's a safe play, but they're going to throw the football. And
3rd and goal in the end zone. Touchdown, Oklahoma, through the air. There it is, Joe John Finley.
Well, the monkey's off the back here for Rhett Bomar. He's real happy about that. Joe John has thrown a couple of balls to him tonight and been effective. Joe John is a pretty good target down here with his size down here in the red zone at 6'6", 240 pounds, coming across and working outside. Just look at him, throwing the ball up to him. You take a small receiver, throw it right over the top of him. Good shot that time by Bomar, and pretty good catch. First passing touchdown for Oklahoma.
And Bomar to Joe John Finley. And the point after by Hartley is good. And Oklahoma makes it 40-15. First touchdown pass of the year, the first of the career for Rhett Bomar. Sooners lead it by 25.
Without faith, there can be no victory.
What God desires is here.
Without victory, there can be no future.
It has fallen to us to defend Jerusalem.
From Ridley Scott, director of Gladiator. Kingdom of Heaven. Own the DVD October 11th.
Chili cheese fries are making me full.
You don't have to finish them. You just...
Charlie? You wanna...
What the... Wow. Who's this guy?
Calling in a sub.
How long has he been sitting in the back of my car?
It's always back there.
Always back there?
Yeah. Cherry limeade, buddy? I thought he was a buddy of yours.
Game day food. Nothing goes better with sports than Sonic's chili cheese fries, the official food of armchair quarterbacks. It's not just good, it's Sonic good.
They don't care that Valero Energy Corporation is the nation's largest independent refiner, or that we're an industry leader in the production of environmentally clean energy products, or that our 4,600 stores market food and fuel to keep most of North America going. They just know that among the thousands of Valero employees who volunteer for community service every day, there's one who has energy to spare. For them, Valero, the energy to take you anywhere.
Our Acura scoring drive highlights Oklahoma's first passing TD this season. Bomar to Joe John Finley. And 9 plays, 84 yards, 4 minutes and 30 seconds, and the Sooners start the fourth quarter off with a touchdown pass and a 40-15 lead here in Norman.
It can be done.
Yeah,
that's what it is. Jason White's not back there, so Sooner fans, it can be done. Another quarterback getting a touchdown pass.
So Jason White signing autographs before the ball game tonight in a promotional setup outside the stadium.
Still revered here as a Sooner. Going to be so for the rest of his life.
Folks here, nothing against anybody that's here now, but much more appreciative of what they had. They kind of took that Heisman Trophy winner for granted, believe it or not, for a while. And what a terrific player. A shame that his knees and body just breaking down, but just really didn't give a shot to make it to the NFL. The kickoff to Kansas State, and Barrera brings it out to the 24-yard line. Well, the last couple of weeks, we've all seen the devastating effects of Hurricane Katrina along the Gulf Coast, along with Hurricane Rita. And if you want to help the victims, you can make donations by going to SalvationArmyUSA.org or give them a call, 1-800-SAL-ARMY, or the RedCross.org on the website, and the number 1-800-HELP-NOW. We do hope you have a chance to contribute and help out, and that is going to be an ongoing process.
Yeah, there's a little process here for Alan Webb and his offense. They're up against a pretty feisty Sooner defense who's done a good job tonight, and it hasn't been nothing has come easy for Alan Webb.
And down 25, obviously they're going to have to go to the air more and more here. First and 10, Webb in trouble. Boy, how many times have we said that? And the sack as he is brought down by number 97, Corey Bennett, his 5th, or the Sooners' 5th sack, I should say, as Alan Webb has really been running for his life today.
Well, what happens on play action pass, when he turns his back to the line of scrimmage, it's really hard for a quarterback to get squared around and get set up and look downfield. You take a look here, he's going to be the play action. Watch him, he turns his back. If you hold it right there, he's got no idea where everybody's at, and then he's got to step up and get comfortable. And the offensive linemen are just falling down and not being able to hold out this Sooner defense. And 197 Corey Bennett does a pretty good job of coming off his block here and making that play.
Second down, 15. Webb somehow got out of that group, and then incomplete as the ball is dropped by Figures. Dvorak was the lead in the coverage against the quarterback Alan Webb. Well, let's take a look at our Dr. Pepper trivia question. In 03, Kansas State winning its first Big 12 title. What year did the Wildcats win their last title? 1934, yeah, it wasn't the Big 12 North, it was the Big 6 Conference. And
Bill, you might
Waldorf.
You might remember these. What were the schools in the Big 6 Conference?
Let
me see. Thought you might remember those.
That's a pretty good one. I'm not quite that old.
Time is out.
There's the flag.
Things are snowballing here against K-State.
Dead ball. Ball starts 66 offense. 5 yards, third down.
Their 11th penalty of the night. And Clary committing this one.
Yeah, Clary's had some problems there, a couple of holding penalties, but overall the offensive line, they're just young, Bill. John Hafferty, the guard, is a sophomore. Their center's a sophomore. Caleb Handy's a redshirt freshman. Their depth are all freshmen. So the offensive line here, they're growing as well. They're trying to improve, but it's something that doesn't come easy, especially against a talented football team like Oklahoma. It can be a tough night, and they've had a lot thrown at them tonight.
Third down and 20. Webb again. Comes out firing. And it is incomplete. Somebody may got a hand on it. I'm not sure as it goes awry, and they'll have to kick it away. All right, here's your answer, Gary. 1934, Kansas State. The Big Six included Kansas, Missouri, Oklahoma, Iowa State, and Nebraska.
It's amazing how you can pull that from memory.
Boy, I tell you, their press guide is nice to have. They also beat that year. They played Fort Hays State, Manhattan College from New York, Marquette, that no longer has football, and they were loser to Tulsa, and they beat Washburn, the Ichabod's. So that's how long prior to the 2003 had been since the Wildcats had won a conference title. The punt by Ryer, and a flag is thrown as it's down near the 40-yard line.
You talk about K-State and how long they've been playing football, and I'm just wondering, on campus there, the older stadium, is that the place where they probably played? They got the new stadium now.
Yeah, years ago. As they try to sort it out once again, it has really taken the rhythm out of this
Illegal
game.
block in the back, 22 on the receiving team. 10 yards and force from the end of the kick, first down.
And this is something that'll bother Bob Stoops as they got control of the football game, and it's like, all right, let's get it going here. He's on, I'm going to get you. We'll be right back.
When you're the 10-year anniversary, all season long on FSN.
40-15, Oklahoma leading it over Kansas State. Red Bomar, a big part of the Oklahoma success story tonight.
No doubt, he has grown up a little bit tonight, both with his speed, running the football, showing that he's got speed, and able to make some things happen here right in the middle of the defense here against Kansas State. And he's been impressive so far, running the football and driving, leading this offense. But I think he's making some pretty good decisions with the football. Pump fake there, goes to Joe John Finley in the middle here. Then he gets the monkey off the back with his first touchdown pass of the season and his career. So good night here for young Red Bomar.
Scored one, tossed for another. Ran 8 times for 67 yards. Hands the football off to Kewan Jones here. Jones motors to the 40 and should have a first down depending on the exact placement of it. 12:05 to go in the football game, and Oklahoma with a 40-15 lead, trying to give Kansas State its first loss of the season in the conference opener.
Well, in a game like this, if you go down, I wonder what Bob Stoops' thinking is in regards to quarterback play. Do you let Rhett Bomar continue and play the entire football game, comfortably ahead here, or do you want to get your number 2 quarterback in, who actually played wide receiver some tonight? That's Paul Thompson. A chance to get some more reps here in Big 12 play.
Interesting, that is for sure, because Sooners rolling the dice there just a bit with playing Thompson receiver, and he's also your backup quarterback.
You know, I think that really, though, Bill, the whole goal here for OU with the Paul Thompson situation, moving to wide receivers, really just get your best athletes on the field. And, you know, they had a void at wide receiver because of some players that had graduated, and they didn't feel like the younger players were picking up the slack that they needed to, and Paul Thompson was really a pretty good fit out there, and he's shown some experience, you know, a little bit of depth out there, just doesn't have the reps and the experience on the field playing that position.
Kewan Jones on the carry on the 1st and 10. He is brought down by Birch. And in case you're wondering, Hayes McEachern is the number 3 quarterback. And if, heaven forbid, an injury would occur to either Thompson or Bomar, well then he becomes a prime character then, as far as guys are going to have to get some serious reps and some playing time. But I agree with what Coach Soups, and he's always kind of gone on the theory that the best players play, and he's taken it further this year to say, hey, this guy deserves some playing time. He's put in his time. He's a great receiver. We think he can be, and he's proving to be that. Speaking of receiving, Travis Wilson's having a good night. His reception takes it down to the 38 of Kansas State, and Marcus Watts makes the play, his 5th catch of the night for the senior out of Carrollton, Texas.
Well, you talk about the offensive line play, and we take a look at our fellow's powerful protector. Take a look at Davin Joseph here and the work that he's done all night. Best offensive lineman here for University of Oklahoma. Good pass protection there. You can't put the hands in the face, though, Big Davin. That is a powerful protector. Fellows, you might be able to do that.
There's no one who's powerful. Didn't get caught. 1st and 10 on the 37-yard line. Omar hands it off. And down to the 34-yard line. Gutierrez makes the carry. First down line brought to you by Overstock.com, your online outlet. It's all about the O. The Sooners needing 7 yards for the first down. At the 34-yard line. Gutierrez is the running back again and gets the carry here. Oh, he's quick. Breaks it down to the 26-yard line. Remember, he had the block punt earlier tonight. Set things up for Oklahoma. Justin McKinney makes the tackle for Kansas State.
That came off the edge, got a partially blocked punt, Gutierrez, and he just comes right down inside and does a good job of just exploding through the hole. And you have good blocks in front of you. That's usually what happens with the push. Chison doing a good job. That's one of the things that Kelvin Chison needs to do more of, and be physical and finish blocks, and does a good job that time on that run play. Takes Brandon Archer down to the turf.
Gutierrez. 1st and 10 from the 26. Gutierrez gets the carry again. Stop. He's a sophomore out of San Antonio, went to Madison High School.
Marcus Watts comes up, makes a nice tackle on the outside. Quick back out of the backfield, and does a good job of wrapping him up.
Gutierrez, 52 touchdowns in his high school career, 4,500 yards rushing total.
You know, we talked a lot about Oklahoma's offensive line and playing well tonight. One of the things that's kind of difficult for them is the depth they have with their offensive line. They've got some seniors up there, but then what are behind them are really just freshmen and redshirt freshmen. Not a lot of juniors, sophomores in that mix. And really it's been because they've had such good players there that it's been a little bit difficult, I think, for Bob Stoops and his coaches to recruit here at Oklahoma, because they've had just great offensive linemen, and guys want to come in and play. And you've got an incumbent starting offensive lineman that are Big 12 caliber and even NFL type caliber. You got Jamal Brown, and you might have a guy here like Davin Joseph going to step into that role next year. It's hard to recruit sometimes to get those players in here. So the depth is not what Bob Stoops would like to have right now with his offensive line.
Yeah, even great players want to play right now. And sometimes you'll have just a slight difference because you have so many of them, and guys say, well, I don't see the light right now. Pass play incomplete.
Trying to throw it out to Willie Roberts here on the outside. This is a touch pass that that we used to see Jason White throw very, very easily and comfortably. That one just a little bit outside the hands of Willie Roberts coming out, the third tight end here for Oklahoma.
Senior out of Miami, Florida. So a 40-yard field goal attempt coming on here for Garrett Hartley. Hartley hit on a 29-yarder in the second quarter to make it 12-0. This a 40-yard attempt would be his longest if he's successful. And he is. So Oklahoma fine-tuning all areas as they gear up for Texas next week in the big showdown in Dallas. 40 yards, good for Hartley. 43-15 the score, Sooners.
Hey, Bob here.
Welcome back to Sarah College Football Saturday. Bill Langberry Reasons. Jim Knox with you here in Norman. The Sooners in control, 43-15. Second field of the night from Hartley, giving them that lead. And let's head on down to Jim Knox.
Okay, thank you very much, Bill. Try to answer some emails. We'll get this one answered for Brian. Brian said, take a look on the sidelines. Oklahoma Sooners have some of the best cheerleaders in college football. They can do a lot of gymnastics stuff. We're going to check it out right here. Go ahead, go. Go, guys. There we go. Let's see. Nice flip there. Over here to the right here, Rusty. Catch those three. Hey, not bad. There you go, Brian.
Hey, Brian, that's a pretty good call.
Yeah. Good organization down there, Jim Knox. Doesn't matter if it's a Sooner Schooner, if it's cheerleaders, he is in control all over the stadium. Parents looking on, go, is that what my money went to? Body paint. Okay, thank you, son. The kickoff for Oklahoma. Hartley taken on the 7-yard line. And Alsop brings it out to the 35-yard line. So Kansas State with 7:49 to go. They'll take over ball on the 35-yard line. At this point, they're gearing up for next week's battle with the University of Kansas. Kansas playing Texas Tech tonight. As a result, they'll give Allen Everidge a look here. The freshman redshirt from Nebraska last week threw for 97 yards in a blowout of North Texas. Comes on as the quarterback. The southpaw can gun it. Misses here trying to connect with Morera.
They think he's got a good, strong arm, and they like what he brings the tools as a quarterback.
7:45 to go with it 43-15 Oklahoma. We'd like to alert our viewers watching on FSN Northwest, Arizona, and West 2. You'll be joining live coverage of the Washington-UCLA game in just a few moments. 2nd and 10 from the 35. Everidge plenty of time and finds a man and is complete to Dennis. He goes the wrong direction, now heads to the sideline and out of bounds. Dennis on the receiving end.
Forced out of bounds by Wolf, number 25.
See, Rhett Bomar still working on the snaps, and that doesn't surprise me.
It's a different center. That's why he's doing
Yeah.
it. They're going to put the center in there, and Rhett's going to go back in there. So you want to get comfortable with who's going to be out there with you.
Working there with John Cooper, freshman out of Fort Collins, Colorado, as both teams substituting freely now. 1st and 10, ball on the 48-yard line. Wow. And Everidge sings it again. Flag thrown in the backfield. He completes it at the 40, and another flag thrown down there where DJ Wolf made the tackle.
Well, Allen Everidge talked about his game. You know, he's more of a passing quarterback, not the running style quarterback. So you see here on the first 2 balls that he's thrown from scrimmage that he's got a pretty good delivery and throws that ball pretty hard.
25 on the defense, pass interference. That penalty is declined. 58 on the defense, roughing the passer. That penalty is enforced from the end of the run. 15 yards and a first down.
So Calvin Thibodeau called for that penalty and gives Kansas State some real momentum.
Yeah. That goes from the end of the run, so they take that penalty yardage, and that's a pretty big play there. So Calvin Thibodeau Been very aggressive and playing pretty well tonight. Just got back to the quarterback. I didn't see the hit on the quarterback, but deemed late by the officials.
And the Sooner crowd trying to cheer its defense on now. With a 1st and 10, the ball on the 26. And Everidge rolling out. Got a man, and it is complete. What a great grab that is made down to the 2-yard line. That is Jordy Nelson again, who had the touchdown reception earlier tonight of 73 yards. Wow.
Good feet there on the sideline. Jordy Nelson threading the needle here as the quarterback Everidge comes out to the outside and rolls a little bit. And on the run here, delivers his ball very, very nicely. Over the top of one defender right on the sideline. Jordy Nelson pulls it down and finds a hole there out about the 1-2 yard line.
Jordy Nelson, what a high school athlete he was. 17 points a game in basketball at Riley County High School up in Riley, Kansas. He's also an all-state football player, quarterback DB, state champ in the 100, 200, and 400. He showed that speed tonight. K-State pulls their way into the end zone, and it is a touchdown for the Wildcats as Saba, who is a defensive tackle, and then comes over in that jumbo backfield, if you will, and he gets the TD. The 6', 275-pound senior out of Blackwood, New Jersey.
Big fella here coming around the edge, and Bowen just getting behind his blockers and going on in there and leaning in. And the official over here crosses the plane of the end zone, and touchdown K-State.
7:03 to go in the 4th quarter, and they'll go for a pair here. Saba gets the score. Throwing it in the end zone and just incomplete, looking for Nelson. So they don't get the 2-point conversion. We will take a brief timeout. Kansas State makes it 43-21. Stay with us on FSA.
Kicking off.
And they send it, the pooch kick, if you will, down near the 11-yard line, and that is Smith. Well, I beg your pardon, Rankins versus his field and cuts it up past the 25-yard line, just shy of the 30-yard line on the return. So what's ahead for the Sooners? Well, those Texas Longhorns will be waiting after a blistering Missouri today in Columbia. And then they play Kansas in Kansas City at Arrowhead Stadium, where Oklahoma will take a slew of fans up there. Baylor and Nebraska. And then in November, A&M, Texas Tech, and of course the Bedlam game against Oklahoma State. Now the Sooners, first things first though, they start off the Big 12 with what they would hope would be a victory. Still 6:55 to go, 43-21 the score. Kansas State continues to answer, but can they stop Oklahoma here? Because Oklahoma, I would imagine, will go to that ground game even more now as Kewan Johnson carries the football. Kewan Jones, I should say.
Chris Bush moves over to center and gets support there with Brett Beaumont.
Also J.D. Quinn on that offensive line, redshirt freshman from Garland, Texas, as Kevin Wilson, the offensive line coach and offensive coordinator, trying to move different guys in there. You see Chris Messner, junior out of Frederick, Oklahoma. I would think for the Sooners now, it's a matter, all right, let's finish crisply. Let's not turn this thing over. Let's not make some silly mistakes, even though the game appears to be in hand. But the only way Kansas State can get back into it is if Oklahoma gives them that opportunity.
Well, you look at how they played all night. They have been smart with the football. That was a big key that Bob Stoops wanted to take care of this week in practice. That is ball control, ball security. No fumbles of snaps by Rhett Bomar with the center. They have not had any caused fumbles, no interceptions. You know, those are the things that are key for a football team. If you're going to be successful, you have to take care of the football, and I think that Bob Stoops has got to be pleased with how his offense has done tonight.
Coach Stoops, 68-14 in his 7th year here at Oklahoma. You understand, they're 1-2 coming in here. Last year they were 12-1. The year before, 12-2, 12-2, 11-2, 13-0. So that's why people have been in a panic around here that they're 1-2. Beaumont completes this one to Gutierrez. Gutierrez out to the 35-yard line. And earlier on we were talking about OU and what they've done last year, this year, passing and rushing. Let's take a look.
Well, OU offensively, it's just 2004. Look at all these passing yards. At 254, that's 462 yards of offense per game for the Sooners, passing the ball the biggest majority of that. But now look at the Sooner offense in 2005, only 46% coming from the passing yardage, and that's roughly 297 yards of total offense.
Prior to tonight.
Yeah, that's prior to tonight. They're over 350 yards of total offense tonight. So pretty good output here by the Sooners, and they're trying to grow their passing game to marry with a great running game. They've got Adrian Peterson, obviously, and the Sooners tonight 208 yards rushing on the ground, and the passing yardage, and more importantly, I think the first touchdown for Rhett Bomar. That's something that the Sooners been wanting to see. Finally got it accomplished here in the fourth ball game.
Sooner fans loving it. As Oklahoma 5 minutes, 16 seconds away from making it 2-2 on the season, as they lead the Wildcats of Kansas State 43-21. Next week, our college football quadruple header. Get the groceries early, Gary says. Starts with Kansas and Kansas State from the Little Apple. Arizona takes on USC, then A&M and Colorado, and back to the Pac-10 to wrap it up with Oregon at 15th rated Arizona State. That all starts Saturday with our kickoff show, 11:30 a.m. Eastern, 8:30 Pacific, only on FSN. And the punt by Freebie. Morera is deep and hit. Flags everywhere.
A little early there, no doubt about it. He got there, made contact before the ball was down, and I think it's just an eager Sooner player trying to make a play there. Not anything he want to do maliciously, but Morera, one of the better kick returners early in this college season for 05.
Alan
down
Patrick,
pretty good.
pardon me, Gary. Alan Patrick is the player that hit him. Let's take a look. Listen to him.
He's unprotected there. He's actually had a little contact with a blocker, but he has no way of knowing where that football is, and he's just trying to make an aggressive play.
A little push from Garvin on the play.
You know, one of the things, Bill, you talk about, with Oklahoma and their slow start, 1-2 coming into this ball game, and really how that's all handled by the head football coach, and that's Bob Stoops, and really a lot of changes that you have to make or think about with players leaving and things going on, and really, he doesn't really want to talk about things that have happened in the past. He wants to look forward, but 1-2 start does not really sit well with a lot of Sooner fans. They're used to being in national championship type pictures over the last 5 years. 3 of the last 5 years they've been in the national championship game, and really may not be in that picture this year unless they have some type of a huge run here towards the end of the year
and some help.
Yeah, but really the point I'm getting to is how does a head coach deal with the type of start that he's had, and it's not typical for a Bob Stoops type start.
No, he's not familiar with it either.
No, but the guy on the other sideline, Bill Snyder, that is somebody that Bob Stoops learned from in his early coaching days and been with him and seen a turnaround of sorts that is unlike any other turnaround in college football, and to be able to deal with those types of things. I think that it's kind of unique that Bill Snyder is the guy that's here tonight going against Bob Stoops, and probably one of the more challenging ball games in his coaching career.
Yeah, and Bill Snyder, the only blip lately was last year's 4-7 record. Of course, in 03 they went 11-4 and bumped off Oklahoma. You saw the video earlier in that Big 12 championship game. But they had an 11-year period from 93 to 2003 when they won at least 10 of those 11 years. And that only other year that they didn't get that, they went 6-6. But people forget that when Snyder took over, that they were 0-26-1 prior to his arrival. He went 1-10, 5-6, 7-4, 5-6, and then they went on that terrific 11-year run.
Yeah, Bob Stoops was part of that early staff with Bill Snyder at Kansas State. So they've got a lot of common ground now. They've both grown in different ways, and they do things differently as head football coaches. But I think there's something that Bob Stoops has learned from his association being with Bill Snyder and how he has dealt with adversity, because this has really been the most adverse time in Bob Stoops' coaching career early in the season, because, hey, they've been lights out in college football to start every season. That's just not been the case this season.
You see, even though the Sooners are in control with the 43-21 lead, Coach Stoops not happy with the current situation. Well, our Dr. Pepper player of the game, Rhett Bomar, and it could be a lot of guys, but we like him for a couple of reasons.
Well, Rhett Bomar has showed that he's a tough young player. He's growing up passing the football. He's got an offensive touchdown passing the ball, so he's come of age, so to speak. He's the guy that's entrenched, and he has led this football team tonight, and our hats go off to him because I think that he's done a pretty good job.
Well, the Sooners were leading 19-0 at the half, came out, and Smith got an interception. Bomar led him right into a touchdown. He scored himself on an 8-yarder. Kind of let him know that, all right, there's not going to be a quick comeback here for Kansas State. And 5 of 7 this half with a TD, and ran for a touchdown and set up another with a 42-yard run. So Dr. Pepper player of the game, Rhett Bomar, the redshirt freshman. And the horses have gotten a little bit more of a workout tonight than they've been used to. So good news for Oklahoma fans. Kansas State 3rd and 10. The ball on the 44 of the Wildcats. Quarterback Everidge and tries to step forward, going nowhere. Everidge brought down by Nick Harris. Well, how about that for the defense answering the call for OU?
23 yards allowed rushing tonight by this OU defense, and that's a pretty good job up front. I think that they were challenged over the last couple of weeks to play better up front, not just in the run game, but they've been a pretty good run defense, but actually to put pressure on the quarterback, and they did so on Allen Webb all night.
Ryer on for the punt. Stands on his own 29, 4th and 11. Rankins, the deep man, back at the 15. Takes it and is brought down at near the 8-yard line. So Oklahoma deep in its own territory to start off here with 4:07 remaining.
Juwan needs to remember that you can do a fair catch.
Yeah.
Interesting. He just decides to take the punishment there instead of taking the fair catch.
Oklahoma fans counting this one down as the Sooners lead at 43-21 with 4:07 to go. For Kansas State, we mentioned FSN will have it for you next week. Kansas, that's our morning telecast, as gets underway at 11 Central. And then they go on the road to Texas Tech, home versus A&M and Colorado. A&M and Colorado both winners today. And then at Iowa State, and Paul Thompson comes into the quarterback slot now out of the shotgun. Thompson hands it off to Gutierrez. And we were asking the coaches, all right, how do you work this situation? Thompson is your backup quarterback. He said, well, thankfully we're not working with a freshman. We're working with a guy who's been here, knows what we're doing, doesn't need all the reps that you want to give a younger player.
Well, they say he's smart in the offense. He knows the routes of all the receivers, not just the position that he plays out there. So I asked the coaches, I said, hey, Bob, what did you do about getting him reps? I said, well, he's not going to get as many reps at the quarterback spot as we'd like because, Rhett's going to get the majority of those reps, but he plays enough in the passing game as a receiver. He's in all the meetings. I said, is the workload hard for him? He says, no, because he's a smart young man. He knows the offense, and he has turned out a lot better as a receiver earlier than they thought. Now he gets a chance to tune up his quarterbacking skills a little bit.
Junior from Leander, Texas, the handoff here, and nothing doing as Oklahoma would like to be able to run the clock out, but it's going to be difficult. Brandon Archer makes the tackle here. As it'll be 3rd and long now for the Sooners. As Gutierrez getting a number of carries here tonight. He has now carried 6 times for 20 yards. And the Sooners will have a 3rd name.
You watched a little of the Texas game today. You saw the Longhorns perform, and you've seen them throughout the year. Let's talk a little bit about that next week with Oklahoma. How do you think that sets up?
Well, it is certainly interesting, and you'll certainly be a solid, if not heavy, favorite in the game, I would think, as Gutierrez gets the carry here. But until Oklahoma falls to Texas, the pressure, I think, is still on the University of Texas, even though they've already survived a big test up in Columbus, Ohio against Ohio State. And Oklahoma is going to enter that game after tonight with a lot of confidence, and they know they can win down there. And in that series, it's just been crazy. It is totally unpredictable.
Well, if you're Bob Stoops, you're going to have to sell your football team on the fact that, hey, your defense has played exceptionally well tonight, and you can go in there, and, it's going to be an effort to slow down Vince Young and that offense that they have at Texas, but you've got to go in there and play smart, aggressive defense, make some plays, and anything that happened in that Cotton Bowl, as you well know, it's an interesting place to play, and should be a pretty good contest again next week, and I'm sure a lot of Sooner fans are looking forward to that one.
And the clock expires there, so our Kyocera Mita play of the game, and it goes to Oklahoma Finley in lineup. First touchdown pass reception of the year for the Sooners from Rhett Bomar.
Pretty good execution. Throw it up to the big tight end. Good frame to throw to, good body. And Joe John Finley gets that need a play of the game. He and Rhett Bomar.
And with 1:43 to go now, Sooners 43-21. And many of the fans making their exit.
Let's talk about K-State now playing Kansas next week. And Mark Mangino brings his football team into Manhattan. And you know, it's a game, it's an in-state rivalry type of a game, Bill. You've got K-State, Kansas. It's going to be one of those games that really it's going to be very competitive. I think a couple of teams want to try to position themselves to be in the hunt, so to speak, for the Big 12 North.
Kansas is losing to Texas Tech 30-17 late in the fourth quarter in that game in Lubbock. So Mark Mangino's club having to go on the road, if you will, for back-to-back games, and just down I-70 and up Highway 77 to meet the Wildcats in Manhattan next week. Here's the punt. Fair catch is called for and then fumbled, and Oklahoma's recovered. They're going to whistle it dead. The play is going to be whistled dead as the Sooners, Williams returning it for what he thinks is a touchdown, but they're going to bring it back. Darian Williams, the sophomore, Mesquite, Texas.
The muff kick, therefore Oklahoma takes possession at this
No
spot.
advance after a muff punt, college football.
You know, we were saying that last year, remember, Kansas beat Kansas State 31-28. So, you know, K-State should, not that they need any extra juice to get ready for that game, but that certainly sets the table for one up next week in Manhattan.
I remember on the last punt return that he took a pretty good shot in the midsection, and back there again trying with a fair catch this time, but does not pull it in, and recovered by the Sooners. Williams thought he had him a touchdown.
Yeah, fans thought they had a little last-minute lightning. 1:32 to go. Sooners, Thompson back in at the quarterback position. 1st and 10 from the 46.
Well, you know, Bill, one of the things that happened to Oklahoma in this ball game is their talented tailback, Adrian Peterson, in the second quarter, out again with an aggravated, looks like an ankle injury. He's standing on the sideline. They tried to tape him up and retape him and get him stretched out, but couldn't get back in the football game before he left. Pretty good night. 8 rushes for 51 yards. Made some good runs in this ball game, but I think that if he's out for any period of time for this football team, that is not something that plays in the favor of these Sooners.
Second down. Well, and you would hope from the comments that Bob Stoops made that at halftime about, hey, we think we can get him back in here, that obviously they felt it wasn't so serious at that time that they just had to scrub him. So you would hope that they'll be able to get him back for the Texas game with some treatment and taking care of business. But we mentioned earlier, you played the game, that those high ankle sprains sometimes can be a nag.
They really can. And, there are things that seem to, for whatever reason, they do not heal as fast as ankle sprains that are lower on your ankle or near your foot. But you got one that's above the big old ankle bone there and kind of lingering sometimes up into the calf. Those things are very, very painful and they're hard to deal with. And it's your balance. The balance is the thing that's affected. And for a running back, that is key. You can't put pressure on certain inside or outside cuts. And for a guy who is used to, that's his life. That's his lifeline right there, is making cuts. It's very difficult to do.
Alan Patrick getting a couple of carries for Oklahoma here on the final drive and plays, as Bill Snyder comes over to congratulate Bob Stoops, a former player of Bill's when he was an assistant at Iowa, and of course one of his first coaches to join him when he became the head coach at Kansas State. And the Sooners take care of Kansas State here tonight, 43-21. Paul Thompson moved to the wideout, made a couple of receptions tonight, also at a quarterback, and the dual role works well, and Bomar certainly led the way, but the defense set the tone for Oklahoma.
Really was. Good role there by the defensive, coming up and making plays at the line of scrimmage, negating the running game here for Kansas State, and also Allen Webb really under duress all night. The pressure was there, and so took a little pressure off of the secondary, and I think the Oklahoma secondary was pretty close to their receivers. They did a good job all night. So overall, I think it was a good effort by the Sooners. K-State, they got to go back to the drawing board, and they've got to improve a little bit.
First loss of the year for the Cats, 3-1. OU goes to 2-2. Oklahoma season high 228 rushing yards here this evening. Actually 232 the final total, and overall 371 yards of offense. So that gives them a big bump as well as they get ready for the University of Texas. And exciting Big 12 opener here tonight. Oklahoma, it's back on track with a 43-21 victory. I want to remind you to join us next Saturday on FSN when we feature the nation's #1 team. First at 11 a.m., it's Kansas and Kansas State. Then at 3:30 Eastern, Arizona #1 USC hook it up. Followed at 7 o'clock Eastern, A&M in Colorado, and then later on Oregon at number 16, Arizona State. Bill Land for Gary Reasons, Jim Knox saying so long from Norman. Sooners win it 43-21 over Kansas.